And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show. And I appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for joining. We got a whole lot going on tonight. I'm not really sure where to start. The Taliban is in the news, of course. We got to talk about them. There's a lot to discuss there. And your man Joe Biden is not coming back anytime soon. He's going to Delaware. Why Wilmington, Delaware? Why are you going all the way home? Like, what type of sense that make? You're in the White House. You want to go home for a weekend? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, the Hypocrite squad, the Socialist squad, the landlord real estate squad, the money team, the money squad. We'll talk about them. Speaking about the squad on Capitol Hill, we'll talk about them in a little bit. Also, I saw something on Jimmy Kimmel, where I saw a clip of it, of the audience, which is probably 90% white, if not 100%, cheering for the white population decline in America. It's pretty strange how that works. Talk about that in a minute as well. Also, Megan Rapinoe, I guess that's how you pronounce her name. I thought it was Rapinoe, tomato, irrelevant, but allegedly, she's been bullying her teammates into kneeling before the national anthem. You thought it was all organic? I think not. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for joining me. Couldn't do it without y'all. I appreciate you for being here. If you enjoyed the show, if you enjoyed the content, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Big shout out to all my sponsors, of course. As always, at the very beginning, you guys know how I do. And if you don't know how I do, if you don't know my sponsors, well, lend me your ear for a second. I'll tell you about my sponsors. Then we get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Shout out to me, AnthonyBLogan.com. All my videos have sources on that particular site. So let's, for example, I did a video about Afghanistan, right? And I may make certain claims about the situation that's going on, talking about how it was not done very well. People should have been evacuated. People are still there. I'll link to all my sources for all my facts that I talk about in each video. And I'll write an article. I write full articles for each video, and I source the articles as I source my videos on AnthonyBLogan.com. All my links are on the website as well. If you want to send me some snail mail, if you want to send me an email, the links for that are on there. If you want to book me for whatever, everything is there. AnthonyBLogan.com, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Also, go to ABLmerch.com. We got all the hottest, freshest merch, hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. ABLmerch.com. It's related to me and also just kind of patriotic in general, things that I wear all the time, things that I enjoy. ABLmerch.com. And of course, BHEdesigns.com. If you want to get one of these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, you could get one of these or one of your very own. BHEdesigns.com. Also, Mr1920.com. Again, Mr1920.com for some beautiful handmade, deliciously great smelling soaps. That's right, soaps. Mr1920.com. And all the links, everything will be in the box below. And last but not least, patriotpost.us. You want to get some real news, real information from a trusted and respected source on the internets? Go to patriotpost.us. They're a good source. People always say, hey, ABL, where do you get your news? You can go to my site and get my sources for things that I talk about, but where do I get my news? Where do I get my information? Look no further than patriotpost.us. All right. So shout out to all my sponsors. They make this whole thing possible. And, you know, when YouTube wants to act crazy, all the other Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Insta Snaps, whatever, when they want to act crazy, my sponsors are always there and they got my back. So shout out to them. And I'll probably add a few more if I like them. I will only have a sponsor if I like them. If I don't like what they stand for, if it doesn't fit, if I don't like them, then I have no reason. You know, I get emails all the time. Do you want to integrate? First of all, I'm like doing a regular video. a regular 10-minute video throughout the week. I'm not going to put this long ad for like 60 seconds at the very beginning. I know you guys don't want to see that, so I don't do that for my regular videos. But I get a lot of those commercials requests, but I do things that I like. Now, let's get to the topics. I'm going to talk about the Taliban a little bit later in this little hour. I guess you would call it preamble to the cause, but I will talk about the Taliban in depth. I'm going to talk about the Taliban. I'm going to talk about Joe Biden. I'm going to talk about all that stuff in a little bit. So y'all hang tight. And we get to the phone calls at about 9 o'clock Eastern time. So give me about another 51 minutes or so till we get to those. Maybe a little bit more, depending upon how talkative I am. Let's get to the first things first, shall we? First things first. I think I want to talk about the Hypocrite squad. I'm going to start there first because this is one thing that they do that's pretty small, but it leads to bigger things. When you just let people come in the office and they don't really have good intentions, when they're not serious people, when they just want to, when they come in there for self-serving reasons, when they're not serious, they're just trying to get money. It's kind of what they call it, the grift. It's what the cool kids say nowadays. It's just a grift. And then when it comes time to do something real, like when you have international crisis on your hands, all of a sudden, I don't know what to do. They just pretty much, they catch them flat-footed. They have no solution for anything beyond just their scope, trying to just basically engage in graft and get cash. But anyway, you guys have seen this whole thing about cancel rent, right? The squad members and a lot of Democrats and maybe some Republicans too, but mostly, leftists, far leftist Democrats, they say that we should cancel rent. They wanted to legislate that because remember, the eviction moratorium that was, I guess, decreed by the CDC was not a law. The CDC just said, hey, you guys can't evict anybody. You guys can't collect rent or whatever. And that was that. There was programs for landlords and tenants, but it wasn't really good. Basically at the end of it, as far as the eviction moratorium, a lot of landlords got just pretty much screwed over. They had no real way to collect rent. And at the same time, they had to still pay their mortgage because there's no mortgage moratorium. You still got to pay the mortgage. You still have to upkeep the home. Imagine you're a tenant not paying rent for 2 years, and then you get called a slumlord for not fixing stuff. Imagine that. You're not even the audacity saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm squatting here. Yeah, I'm not paying rent. But hey, man, fix my light bulb in front of my house for me. The light bulb right in front of my foyer. Yeah, I know I have low ceilings. I don't even need a ladder to change the light bulb, but I want you to do it because you're the landlord. That's your responsibility. No, I've not paid my rent. Yes, I'm behind $65,000, but change my light bulb. Matter of fact, fix this door jamb right here. It's a little drafty. It's a little cold. It's a little hot in here. Fix my AC. Imagine doing all that and not getting paid your rent. Why? Oh, it's the pandemic. It's the pandemic. Well, they're getting plenty of money during the pandemic, right? They're getting plenty of money. You're getting money from the federales, from the extra federal unemployment insurance. You're getting your state unemployment insurance. You're getting not one, not two, but 3 stimmy checks so far, maybe even the 4th one. You're getting your earned income tax credit. You got about 45 crumps at your kids running around. You got 45 rugrats running around, tearing up the house, eating up everything. You're getting a check for each one of them for free money, not even a tax return. You're just getting money to have children. You're being paid to have kids, to be a breeding factory. But all that money somehow can't go toward the rent. It can go toward trips to Miami. You be on in the terminal fighting each other like you do on the block. You see all these fight videos in the airports. I mean, I've never been traveling and seen a fight break out. I've never seen that. And I've been to quite a few places. I'm pretty familiar with planes, but I've never seen a fight break out just in the terminal like it's nothing. In TSA, because I'm thinking in my mind, there are police everywhere. Why would you want to fight right here? I mean, you might as well fight at a police station. How dumb are you? But all these fights are breaking out, in my humble opinion, because people that have never flown before, never traveled before, who don't need to be traveling, quite frankly, have all this extra money, So they're able to go to Miami. They're able to go have a nice trip. Meanwhile, they're not paying their rent at home. Anyway, I digress. I'm getting a little bit off the track. The point is that there are plenty of monies floating around, thousands, tens upon hundreds upon thousands of dollars, PPP loans. I mean, all this money floating around, yet people can't pay their landlord. Now, two of the biggest advocates for the cancel the rent legislation, which would have gone beyond the CDC recommendation or their decree, it would have gone beyond that, canceling rent for, I guess, however long they wanted to be canceled. Two of these people in the squad, Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib, are both landlords, and they have property that made them a total of $50,000 in 2020. When you combine Ayanna Pressley and not Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib, they got two properties and it made $50,000 in money in 2020, according to public disclosure forms. Now, how are you going to say cancel rent, don't pay any more rent, but you're still getting rent from your tenants? I mean, you know what? You know what it'd be a great show of faith and solidarity? Rather than waiting on them to pass this particular bill, pass this law about canceling rent, how about you do this? How about you stop collecting rent payments from your tenants? When they write you a check, don't cash it. Matter of fact, go up to them and say, hey, you know what? My house is your house. Mi casa es su casa. Because of the scamdemic, you might be employed, have a good job or whatever, making plenty of money, be able to pay your bills, able to pay your rent. But you know what? I'm going to lead by example. Don't pay any more rent. Did they do that? No, they didn't. They got their money. If it's that easy to say cancel the rent, then how about you do it? Matter of fact, how about this? Since you are still collecting rent, you're probably still going to evict, right? So if you're able to evict your tenant for whatever the reason may be, evict the paying tenant and then put in a squatter. Or matter of fact, how about this? Take that rent money, and then put it into a new single family home, build it from the ground up, nice and safe, no rodents, no rats, no roaches, really nice and clean, and then put a squatter in there. Just, random homeless guy wants to get high all day, smoking crack, you put him in a new house and don't charge him a thing on rent. And when that crack smoker burns your house down from his illicit activities, when he brings every single rodent in the United States to that house, when he brings all types of crazy diseases, MRSA, staph infection, the plague, when he brings all those diseases to your house, be like, hey, it's okay. It's no problem because I want to pay it forward. I'm Ayanna Pressley. I'm Rashida Tlaib. We got to cancel rent. So I'll build you a brand new house, $250,000, and you don't pay no rent. Do that. If you want to really be in solidarity, or you don't want to do that, you want to collect rent all year in 2019 and 2020, and then tell regular normies to cancel rent. Tell regular normies that being a landlord is somehow a bad thing. Tell regular normies that real estate, that's not a good way to preserve your money. We're not worried about inflation or anything like that. Yes, we're causing inflation. Yes, we're doing things to make your money in the bank worth less than what it was before. Yes, we're doing that. Yes, real estate is a great way to hedge against inflation because generally it's going to rise in value. Not all the time, but generally it'll rise in value. Let's not even worry about that. Let's just say cancel rent and don't invest in any kind of property because landlords are evil. If you own property, that's a bad thing. We're going to be communists. We're not going to have any private property. That's what you're saying one thing, but you're doing something totally different. It's just like Black Lives Matter. Remember Patrisse Cullors, who's also a real estate lady? Like I was saying from the beginning of my video did today, what kind of squad is this? The real estate squad? The landlord squad? What you got? Grant Cardone squad? I mean, what's going on? But the BLM lady, I forget her name already, Patrisse Cullors, she's talking about I'm a communist, I'm a socialist, all this, that, and the third. You would think she'd be against private property. You think she'd be against, buying up all these things and renting them, selling them. But she has a whole real estate portfolio worth $3.2 million. Hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter. I can't breathe. I'm oppressed because I'm black. But you got a whole real estate portfolio. They're not being serious. They'll tell you, the average person, they'll tell me, the average person, one thing, but then they go out there and do a totally different thing. So anytime you see these far left people on television, anytime you see them anywhere on the internet talking about whatever, whenever they put a website out, whenever they do a speech, just know they're full of it. They'll tell you whatever they need to tell you to please a particular audience, to please you. If you believe in that, but you guys are brilliant, you don't believe in that. But they'll tell the general public whatever it takes to get elected, to get power, to get money. They go to a fundraiser, talk total nonsense for 45 minutes, and go right back home to their nice nest egg funded by real estate, by stocks and bonds and everything else. So yeah, I don't take what they say for any. I don't take them seriously at all. I take what they say with a grain of salt, and that's pretty much how it is. All right. So yeah, the con squad, the real estate squad, the Marxist squad, the commie squad. These people are all fake. Oh, and of course, the biggest grifter, and how the cool kids say, the biggest grifter of all is Ilhan Omar. You guys know this story about her husband, well, her real husband, not the first husband, who was allegedly the brother who she married for immigration purposes because he was a UK citizen, then got married and became a US citizen, allegedly. Not the husband she had the kids with, who she was not married to legally, but she was married to under the Islamic faith because remember, Ilhan Omar is Somali, that's a Muslim country. But anyway, she has another husband, a real husband, a white man. The squad said that white men are the most dangerous in the country. Again, they'll tell you anything that you want to hear, but in reality, it's something different. Same thing with Don Lemon. Shout out to my man Jericho Green if you're watching. Don Lemon talking about white man this, white man that, white man's the worst thing on planet Earth, but you got a whole white husband. How does that work? I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and digress. The point is that Ilhan Omar got married to the white man by the name of Tim Mynett. Now, before Tim Mynett became Ilhan Omar's husband, he was, and I think is, a consultant. And a report said that 70% of Ilhan Omar's campaign money went to his consulting company. Now, is he making any kind of profit on that, or is it all expenses? 70%, that's a pretty high-profile client you got there, Ilhan Omar, part of the squad, name recognition, face recognition. You don't think any of that campaign money, all those donations, public, private, are going through him, the so-called consultant, and then right back to her pocket? Oldest game, oldest trick in the book. Okay, so all these people, a lot of politicians in general are like this, but on the left, this is rampant behavior. It's all a game, it's all nonsense. Now, before I get to the big game, Afghanistan, let me get one more topic in, and then I'm gonna get that because I got a lot to say about Afghanistan. I want to give you guys time. If you late, like I was late for about 2 minutes. If you guys are late, I want you to have time to come on in here, and then I'm gonna just opine about Afghanistan. Here's the next one about Megan Rapinoe. That's her name, Megan Rapinoe. We see all the woke stuff, all the Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. And we see all these athletes kneeling, right? And Megan Rapinoe, that's the U.S. women's soccer player with the purple hair. You know, it always wants to be the center of attention, chest puffed out, trying to be all big and bold, but is like a little kid physically. But anyway, and speaking about little kids, didn't the soccer team, the women's soccer team that is, didn't they get beat by a team of high school boys who weren't even like the best in their particular field? High school boys, not college, but high school boys. They got stomped by high school boys in a soccer match. And Hope Solo talking about we wouldn't get paid the same as the men. How are you going to get paid the same as the men when you can't even beat high school boys? It doesn't make any, the skill level just ain't there. The money level ain't there. It's just like the WNBA trying to talk about we need to get paid as much as the men. All right. Brittany Griner, you are 6'9" and can barely get over the rim and dunk. Your hands are like you basically got your fingers on top of the rim, but you got guys that's 6 foot tall in the NBA that can do windmill 360 behind the back dunks. The skill level ain't the same. I'm not trying to see these bull daggers. I mean, pardon me. I can't say that. I don't want to see these husky looking young ladies be doing layup drills and missing the layups. I'm not trying to see it. I'm trying to see 3-point shots, dunking, beautiful passes from the men. I don't want to see these women out here stink up the joint. But anyway, so Megan Rapinoe allegedly had been bullying her teammates to kneel for BLM and stuff like that during the national anthem. And to me, it makes sense. Although there's a issue with how the information came out, I'll get to in a moment, which will tie in the whole thing about the pay. Although there's an issue with the way it came out, the facts make sense because I remember seeing Megan Rapinoe being the only person out there kneeling. If I could find that picture, I'll put it on the screen. I mean, this ain't gonna be no eye candy, so I'm not doing you a favor. I'm just trying to give you some context and information for that, purpose. But she was the only person on the field kneeling. And I'm like, okay, anybody going to join her? What's going on? But allegedly, it became a situation where she would bully her teammates into kneeling with her. And I think Megan Rapinoe is like the star of the team or one of the biggest faces, if not the biggest face on the team. So you see everybody else standing up, right? Hand over the heart. And you see this little Justin Bieber looking character on the ground kneeling. That is Megan Rapinoe. Only one kneeling. You see what's going on. I think it's Hope Solo right there, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Hope Solo. I'm not really sure where that is. I'm not a soccer fan, so I don't really know. I could be totally wrong. I could be somebody totally else. But the allegation was this person right here bullies the rest of her teammates into kneeling. Now, not everyone kneels, so maybe it's not totally effective, but I would presume that it's somewhat effective. You got the biggest face on the team, the biggest name on the team. She's doing stuff, going on television, talking to Obama and guys like that. So if she says something, it could put pressure on you. You want to be on the women's team. You want to go to the Olympics. You want to become famous yourself. You want to be able to further your career. So you don't want to get on the bad side of Megan Rapinoe and have your career get messed up. So I understand the whole thing about that. But the reason information came out is because Hope Solo, one of her former teammates on the soccer team, got mad at Megan Rapinoe because allegedly she messed up the bargaining thing they had going on. So they were trying to get paid the equivalent to the men. And she keeps bringing this up, talking about the law from the 60s or whatever. I guess the whole thing about equality between men and women. Not sure how you're going to legislate women performing as well as men to bring in the same kind of money as the men. Not sure how that happens, but anyway, her whole beef with Megan Rapinoe back in 2016 is that she messed the whole thing up and they were going to get the money, but she kind of just put the kibosh on it. I'm not really sure how that happened or why it happened, but that's the reason why Hope Solo came out and said that Megan Rapinoe is allegedly bullying her teammates to kneel. So that might be, kind of a retaliatory rumor, but I believe it 100%. I totally believe it. And I think it's probably the same thing going on all over sports. Imagine if LeBron James is on your team, you're on the Lakers, and LeBron James wants to do the kneeling. He wants to do all the SJW stuff. So if all the other guys on the team are doing it and you're not, and you're kind of at the end of the bench trying to get a 10-day contract, trying to find your way in the NBA, you got 1 foot in the NBA, 1 foot out, and you don't want to abide by LeBron James's wishes. I mean, it's going to be hard for you to stay on the team. LeBron is not necessarily in charge of hiring and firing, but at the same time he is. Because if LeBron doesn't like you, the GM is going to kind of kowtow to LeBron because that's their prized possession. You don't want to have LeBron James get upset over some random guy that can be easily replaced when there's no need to do that. You want to keep your star player happy. That's probably happening all over the NBA, all over the NFL, which is why you got to have good leaders, regardless of whether it's on the sports field and the corporate environment, you got to have good leadership. When you have bad leadership, things don't go very well. People, they lose. There's no success. The company fails. Isn't there some kind of legal imperative that a CEO must make the company money? Like, if they don't make the company money, if they do things that aren't in the best interest of making money, they could be brought up on charges or something. I'm not sure how that whole thing goes. But if you have bad leadership, the whole ship sinks. You got a good crew, they're doing their job, but bad leaders sink the entire ship. How old Megan Rapinoe? Well, I know Hope Solo is 40, but I think Hope Solo didn't play. How old is Megan Rapinoe? Let's look it up right quick. She is 36. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a hard 36. I'm 36. I mean, I'm no spring chicken in the face, but I say that I look like I'm not as beat down as Megan Rapinoe. I mean, that face right there, and that was an old picture, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Justin Bieber blonde hair phase. You understand? Now she got the purple. That purple making her look like she bought a 45-year-old Karen, but I digress. Yeah, she's probably about 32 right here. That might be 2016 because she got the whole short blonde hair bob type thing going on. So I don't know what's going on, but they're 36 years old. But anyway, bad leaders are a terrible thing. And speaking about bad leaders, we got to talk about Afghanistan and the whole situation. Now, this has been an unmitigated, this has been a complete disaster from top to bottom. People like Joe Biden would say, oh, well, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. There's no way for it to be any other way. That's not true. That's not true at all. First of all, there was a plan that Trump set in place to exit Afghanistan that the Biden team totally threw away. And my question was, okay, if you're going to throw the plan away, what's your plan to replace it? Some say, well, you just got to leave, man. We shouldn't be over there. That's not how that works. It's like, okay, it's like something simple as being in the parking spot. If someone, well, how about this? Here's a good example I'm thinking about right now. Let's say you parked somewhere you shouldn't have parked, right? You made a mistake. You parked in the wrong place. Your car gets towed and you got to go get it from a particular place. This is really common when I was at the beach, going down the ocean front. Everybody knows if you leave your car in the parking lot past 2:30, they're going to tow you. Or if you go to like an apartment complex and you park in the wrong spot, they'll have the tow truck come around and get your car. It's a racket, of course. Like they set it up intentionally for you to get towed. I won't be surprised if like there's certain little parking lots set up where the people that own the parking lot are the same ones who own the towing company and the towing lot. They probably are the same thing, but I'm having memories and flashbacks, so pardon me, I digress. The point is, you park in the wrong spot, you get towed, you got to get your car. Now, you can't get your car any kind of way. You can't just leave from the towing spot any kind of way. You got to go up to the gate, get in the gate normally, got to pay your money, you got to back out, don't hit any other cars, you got to leave appropriately. You can't just say, hey, you know what? They got my car. I'm going to just drive out of here any kind of way. You drive out any kind of way, you could damage yourself. You could wreck your own car trying to leave if you're not leaving appropriately. That's what happened here in Afghanistan. It didn't leave appropriately. Nobody is saying that it shouldn't have left for the most part. I think everybody can agree that we shouldn't. You agree on one or two things or both. Number one, we shouldn't have gone in the first place. And number two, we need to leave. Either you agree on one, the other, or both, for the most part, generally. Even those that say we should have gone there, it was a righteous thing to kill someone, bin Laden or whatever, you still probably think we should go ahead and leave at a certain point. We can't be there forever. People want to bring up the comparison of, okay, you got Americans in Japan still. Well, what active terror cell is in Japan that we got to fight and lose thousands of troops? Huh? What active terror cell is in South Korea that we got to fight and we losing troops? How about Germany or nowhere or somewhere like that where we protect and we got troops at? Okay, is there an active terror cell happening right now that we got to fight on the ground with drone strikes and stuff like that in Germany? No, but in Afghanistan, that's been going on throughout the entire time. It's never stopped, and it's not going to stop. So we need to leave at a certain point. We can't be there forever. We shouldn't have gone there, but how are we going to leave? That's $1 million question. If there was a plan in place, which there was from Trump and the Biden team, just discarded it, what was their plan to actually leave? Was there a plan? It's like, okay, we're going to leave middle of the night and that's it. You have thousands of people that we promised, like, look in your eyes and say, you know what? You helped us. You're an interpreter. You're whatever. We'll take care of you. We're not going to just let you fall prey to the Taliban when we leave. We promised them that. Now, again, people can say we shouldn't have been there. That's not our business. But we were there and we made a promise. You can't just, renege on your promise like you didn't make it, because think about how it's going to go in the future. When people that have been killed, their families come out and say, well, the U.S. told us the U.S. said we're going to be fine. They promised us safe harbor. They promised us that we wouldn't fall victim to the Taliban. And then my son, my husband, X, Y, and Z still fell victim. Then it's like, okay, now you don't have any trust. Now you remove trust. If we say, okay, Congress, we're going to help you, we're going to be there for you, and then we don't. I'm not saying we have said that, but if we did, why would anybody believe us? Same thing with Taiwan, places like that. If we say we're going to do something and then we don't do it, why would anybody trust us to do it? The same thing going on right now here in the US of A with this whole vaccine kerfuffle. The government says, hey, it's safe, it's fine, don't worry about it, trust us, believe us. But we've heard that over and over again in the past, and it wasn't true. Oh, with the syphilis, everything was fine. We're going to take care of you. We're going to give you free education. We're going to give you free health care. But they didn't do it for not one, not two, not three, but 40 years, ending in the 1970s, and tried to cover it up. Kept it on a down low, had to get kind of dog whistled on. So if you told me lie after lie after lie, why would I trust you again? We got to keep to our word about people that are there that helped us, that didn't have to help us, but did it anyway. We can't leave them there. Also, you have U.S. citizens there, 10,000 Americans, citizens of the USA just stuck. I can't get to the airport because if I try to go to the airport, they're going to kill me. The Taliban's out there killing me. They're trying to come to my house right now. They're looking on my phone for any kind of Western contacts. They're looking for any kind of papers that, relate to the West. If they find my papers, I'm dead. So I might have to burn my papers. But if I burn them, I can't go to the airport and leave because they need my papers to be able to facilitate my exit. So what am I doing? Who's in charge here? What's going on? There should have been an evacuation of U.S. citizens, at least, before this whole thing of withdrawing came about. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. If I'm wrong, if I'm incorrect, y'all please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear why I'm wrong. Why would it be wrong to say, hey, before we pull out the military, let's make sure we handle all our business. Let's make sure we don't leave all of our equipment for the Taliban. And then some are going to say, well, that's for the Afghan military. I mean, stop, please. We all knew that the Afghan military was not going to fight against the Taliban. That's just what it was. This whole thing has been a big mess. It's been a grift, really, for the military-industrial complex, from the drug complex, from multinational corporations, from rare earth minerals, different nations. China likes having things being stable over there because they're able to get the rare earth minerals, and we get these cheap tech exports. Okay, a lot of Afghanistan stuff is right in his phone. Same thing with Africa and everywhere else. A stable Afghanistan, one that's able to be profited from. You can go in there and mine without having all kind of bombs rain down on you. It's cool, good for business. The opium thing, the whole thing with the opium, I think what happened with that is that when the U.S. came, there was already opium trade going on. That's already been happening. Europe is a big player in this. China is also a big player in this because do you know that Afghanistan borders China? I'm not sure if the Afghan border is to have a Chinese connection because it's not really a road right there. It's just some mountains. I think it's more just to keep the border between Tajikistan and Pakistan. But that's a different story. Anyway, Afghanistan borders China, and they're also closer to Europe than other places are. It's a poor country. There's a lot of the villagers and whatnot. They are farming the opium and selling it to the Europeans and to everybody else, to the whole world, really. And what they did when the Americans came was they had to kind of scramble to have some kind of economy. When your economy is getting bombed to smithereens by the Americans or whoever, it's like, all right, what are you going to do? I got to grow these poppies to be able to eat. And I think the Americans were probably protecting the poppy in some instances because they knew that they needed to grow these things to feed themselves. So they wouldn't be relying upon the Americans when the Americans left, or the Taliban when the Taliban are there offering to take care of them. They have some kind of crop. I was reading that you would try to train them to grow other things. They didn't want to do it. All they wanted to do was grow the opium. So when the U.S. was there to protect the opium trade skyrocketed. Maybe that led to a increase in the supply worldwide, which decreased the price, which probably fueled the opioid crisis. Now, the opioid crisis in America, that's also China operating independently of Afghanistan because they're doing the fentanyl, the synthetics, the chemical opiates, not necessarily the poppy opiates, if that makes any sense. The poppy, that's more like your regular heroin, but the fentanyl and whatnot, that's a Johnson & Johnson product. Did you know that? It was Janssen Pharmaceutica. Fentanyl was created by a guy by the name of Paul Janssen of Janssen Pharmaceutica, and then they became part of Johnson & Johnson. So the same ones that give you the defective baby powder, the same ones that give you the shot that got you getting blood clots allegedly, which was pulled from the rack and then put back on the rack with a warning label on it. The same ones also give you fentanyl. Did you know that? I'll move on. So that's probably why the heroin trade increased. But at a certain point, it was time to go. And Biden did not do a good job at all. And where is Kamala Harris at throughout the entire time? I've not heard one word from her at all. We've heard a couple of words from Joe Biden. He's done, I guess, one or two pressers and didn't take any questions. He has the actual people that run the country out there talking. That the generals, the staffers, they run the country. Biden's not running the country. Kamala Harris is not running the country. They are. So when Biden can't even be a figurehead and just be a puppet and talk, you know it's bad. You know it's real bad. Biden was on vacation, right, at Camp David. He was at Camp David. They pretty much wheeled him out there, propped him up, gave him a little bit of shot in his hind part, stand tall. He spoke for a little while. They put him back in the chair, wheeled him back in his room, gave him some tapioca pudding and said, all right, man, you good for the day. You've done your job. And then they bring out the people that are running the show, your Millies and all these people. They are the ones running the whole situation. He's not. But he's at Camp David on quote-unquote vacation. Now he's going back to Wilmington. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever seen the president during a time like this say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just go to Camp David. Then rather than coming back to the White House, I'm going to go home, like home to Wilmington, going back to his basement. And shout out to Jack Posobiec. He broke the story. And originally the story was he wants to go back to Wilmington because it's a familiar surrounding. Familiar surrounding? Not getting sleep. What's going on with you, sir? Are you about to expire? Has the clock finally ticked its last tock? What's going on? Doesn't seem very good to me. And matter of fact, hold on. he did an interview with, I think, George Stephanopoulos from ABC. And the guy does not sound or look good. Here's a question that was asked about the Taliban, well, Afghanistan, and how you guys may have seen the video of the airplane. I can't show it here because they're gonna strike me immediately because it involves death, unfortunately. But you guys may have seen the video of the plane at the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan, with people running alongside it, trying to physically hop on the plane. Not necessarily in the plane, but on the plane, on the wheels, like on the landing gear. Unfortunately, I think at least 2 or 3 people died when they fell from the landing gear when it closed. And one person, I think, was stuck inside the gear and was just, his body was just flapping along with the wind. He was dead in the landing gear. You could see it from the window. I mean, totally ridiculous. Now, the George Stephanopoulos, to his credit, asked him about it. Now, let's see what he says about this whole situation. Let's get a little bit of sound, and let's get the video if we can. All right, here we go.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me back it, put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off. That was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
Oh, man. So what do y'all think about that? That right there, first of all, who gave him the Trump tan? Like, is he trying to copy Donald Trump? Like, what's going on with that? Let me turn this off right quick. What's going on with the look? Is there a reason why it looks like that? I don't really understand, first of all. And second of all, what is he even saying? He's struggling to get any kind of words out. He's not there mentally. But then he was even wrong talking about, it was 4 or 5 days ago. It was 2 days ago, sir. This is recently. And why does it even matter how long ago it was? It wasn't 2 years ago. It wasn't under a different administration. It's under your administration. So it don't matter. It could have been 2 months ago. You were still the president. So if you have Afghans falling from the plane and dying upon impact, being crushed in the landing gear, and the body is just flailing along the plane as it's in the sky, and you can see it from the window, that's on your watch, sir. Don't try to blame Trump. Don't try to blame anybody because it's your fault. You did it. The funniest thing in the world is seeing all these leftists talk about Trump this, Trump that. No. It's your guy in charge now. You said the adults are in the room and we got some real leadership. Okay, we have leadership. We have adults in the room. All right, be the adult in the room. Do things properly. Oh, you want, okay. If things don't go well, it's your fault. If this were under Trump, it doesn't matter who the guy was before him, he would get the blame. And rightfully so. You're the leader, so you got to be able to follow on that. But again, Trump had a plan of escape, of exit from Afghanistan, and the Biden administration scrapped it. What was their plan? Just, hey, man, whatever happens, happens. Case of Ross, like, what are we doing? Yeah, he's not in office. Trump's not in office, so you got to talk about Joe Biden as a guy that is responsible. And if not, then, okay, what's the point of him being president then? How long are we going to blame the guy that was in office before? How long are we going to do that? I really don't understand. It's kind of weird. But, hey, That's the current president. But this guy, like I said, he's in Camp David, going to the White House back and forth. Now he'll go back to Wilmington, Delaware, to go home because he's more comfortable there. I believe that's what he said. I believe that's what he said. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that actual tweet. I'm gonna find that right quick from Jack Posobiec. I found the one we're talking about. He's going to Wilmington. It's already on the schedule. He'll be going to Wilmington tomorrow and coming back on Monday the 23rd. All right. I'll be able to find it eventually. But yeah, that's crazy. But shout out to everybody that's in the military. Shout out to everybody that went to Afghanistan and served there. Hey, man, my heart goes out to you, man. If you lost anybody there, if you were injured, if you just have PTSD or whatever the case may be, or you just feel like things were handled improperly and you had a part to play in that mission, my heart goes out to you, man. We love y'all. We support y'all. And this is the fault of this current administration. This thing could have handled much better. It could have been handled much better. The question of whether we should have been there or not is for leadership, is for the federal government, and for those in charge, for George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, all these guys. It's for them to answer that question. All right. And the exit, that's on your man Joe Biden. But if you were over there, you were sent, you were doing your job, you do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. You're in the military, you have orders, you follow your orders. That's it. That's it. That's all. Being over there or not is none of your concern as far as who made the order. That's not your decision. You hold those that are in charge responsible. But Biden doesn't really want to do that. During his first presser, when it was not a presser, a press conference is when you may say a few things and then you take questions from the crowd. He did not do that. He gave a talk for 15 minutes. Read a sheet of paper for 15 minutes, and then that was it. That was all. There was no more talking. He just turned his back and left. That's what happened. Really unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. Yeah, and the mistakes, the quote-unquote mistakes, I don't want to say F-ups, but shout out to y'all. But you guys are saying it properly. I just can't say it here. But the mistakes are mounting up. You got the Afghanistan thing going on. You got this vaccine. Have you guys heard that this is going to be seasonal? Like they're saying, matter of fact, hold on. Let me find I found the video earlier today. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the video from this guy from the NIH. And he said it, not me. So nobody can say, oh, ABL, you made that up and that's not right. This NIH guy said exactly what's going on about the boosters. I'm going to get back to Afghanistan in a moment. I'm talking about leadership right now in general and how these guys are not doing very well. Let me go. Hold on. Let me find it. I'm going to find this particular clip. Okay, here we go. Now, this guy, let's see what his name is when it comes up.
NIH director today.
Vaccine protection does gradually wane over time. In the Israeli data, the people who got immunized in January are the ones that are now having more breakthrough cases. That's the same thing we're starting to see in the U.S. data.
Okay, so this guy, his name is Francis Collins, director of the NIH. So this is, where Anthony Fauci was at, National Institute of Health. He is a director of the NIH, Francis Collins. Let's run that back one more time. If you didn't hear it the first time, let's run it back one more time.
Today.
Vaccine protection does gradually wane over time.
One more time. So you guys are not hearing it out of context, so you know what's going on. So you're not, this is on ABC News, by the way. So this ain't, it's Fox News, ABC News on the evening news. This is on their official YouTube site.
among those 65 and older who were fully vaccinated back in January. The NIH director today.
Vaccine protection does gradually wane over time. In the Israeli data, the people who got immunized in January are the ones that are now having more breakthrough cases. That's the same thing we're starting to see in the U.S. data.
So, I mean, leadership, right? Rollout of this whole thing here at the mandates, all kind of stuff is not very good from leadership. Afghanistan, not very good. The border being wide open, not very good. You want to bring all these Afghan refugees. I'm not saying that there's no refugees to be found in Afghanistan. Surely there are real refugees in Afghanistan, but you don't want to have any of the Cubans come over. Oh, okay. I see how that works. And you want to have the border wide open to whoever wants to come through. They could be from Africa, Asia, Europe, Central America, South America, Australia, Oceania, Mars. They can be from anywhere. They're coming through just untouched with all kinds of diseases. Not just the one thing we talk about all the time, the one big virus that we always discuss. There's a bunch of other things that they come through with too. Measles, mumps, plague, monkey. What they call it? Monkeypox, but also Ebola, all type of stuff. But it's fine. It's no problem. You know, I saw that picture of the Afghans on that C-17 packed from the window to the wall, hundreds of them. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? This is silly, because you're talking about, it's like you have two different realities, right? Let's put it on the screen so I can give you guys a visual aid. We're talking about all hundreds of people. This is one airplane. This is one airplane. Hundreds packed. No seats, no real seats that I see. I'm talking about just an empty hole. Humongous. Window to the wall. No masks. No shots. No nothing. If they have a mask on, it's because it's probably part of their hijab. I'm seeing this and it's fine, but okay, you want to go to school with no mask on, you 5 years old, man, that's going to be a problem. You got to fight to send your 5-year-old to school with no mask on, although we know that kids don't get this virus and die. If you get this virus and die as a kid, you probably bought 1,000 pounds and you already had problems to begin with. That's just keep it all the way real. There have been no cases recorded of little kids dying from this virus, but yet you got to put a mask on them, but they could be on the C-17 packed like sardines and it's fine. That's how I know they're not really serious. And then when I see the southern border wide open, all these, so-called migrants packed window to the wall, under a bridge. They're under a bridge just like this in this picture. Packed, elbow to elbow, no mask and nothing. That's totally fine. And if you want to bring it up, you're a racist. And when I say, hey, what's up with the differences? You can do this here. That's all right. But if I don't want to wear a mask in Chipotle, that's somehow a problem. It's dumb. Bad leadership. Again, going back to the very beginning of the video, the problem is leadership. You can lead your team into an iceberg and sink, or lead into prosperity. Choice is yours. I think a lot of people that voted for Joe Biden, whether they be living their day or whatever, I don't really know where they are because it could have died since the election. But anyway, whoever they are, wherever they are having buyer's remorse, voters' remorse, political remorse, whatever you want to call it. They know that Trump was better. I saw Trump on Hannity, and he was great with what he was saying. He was fantastic. He was saying, hey, the military are the last to leave, because they got to facilitate the exit of people that need to leave. It's so simple when he says it, but apparently to the Biden administration, this is not very simple. I don't understand. Then they're talking about, they say they talked to the Taliban, and the Taliban assured them that they will give safe passage to everyone that needs to go to the airport, that should go to the airport. Really? I'm seeing videos of them beating people, shooting people in the street, going to the airport. So you think one phone call from the States is going to just fix that? if you shoot somebody in the head on the way to the airport, you can get a call. Hey, Mr. Millie, no more shooting? Okay, cool. No problem. Cool. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Is that going to work? I mean, come on. Like, what are we thinking about? What are we talking about? There was never going to be a situation where the Afghan military were going to defend against the Taliban. This whole thing was, like I said, it was a grift from the beginning. You're paying the Afghan so-called military and police to be part of the police, but then when you leave, the money's gone as well. All they were there for is a check to go out there and just, provide for themselves, their family, get drugs or whatever they want to do. Not judging, I'm just saying they're there for the money. The military industrial complex, all these companies, they're there for the money as well. It's all about money. It was never going to be some, Afghan government taking over and being the same as the U.S. government or the U.S. military. It was never going to be that. Trump knew it. Trump said it. He was like, they're not going to fight. We knew that. You had to leave in a smart way. All right. Yeah, and shout out to General Milley and the whole white rage thing. That guy's a nut, a complete nut. And I saw, hold on, speaking about General Milley, you got to hear this. I'll play it and then I'm going to come back. Hold on. This is a short clip. This is a minute long from Daily Caller. Let's check it out.
Previously said from this podium and in sworn testimony before Congress that the intelligence clearly indicated multiple scenarios were possible. One of those was an outright Taliban takeover following a rapid collapse of the Afghan security forces and the government. Another was a civil war, and a third was a negotiated settlement. However, the time frame of a rapid collapse that was widely estimated and ranged from weeks to months and even years following our departure. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government in 11 days. Central Command submitted a variety of plans that were briefed and approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense, and the President. These plans are coordinated, synchronized, and rehearsed to deal with these various scenarios. One of those contingencies is what we are executing right now. As I said before, there's plenty of time to do AAR.
Okay, so do you really believe that it didn't see it coming in 11 days? Really, it was almost immediately. If there was a prediction that there would be a collapse, why not 11 days? Why not immediately? You're talking about weeks. How is 11 days different than a matter of weeks? In reality, if the range was from weeks to months to years, why not days? I mean, where was the thought process behind this? This is really embarrassing. International embarrassment at that. All over the world, they're looking at this. This is not just something that happens on the internet, on social media, in American media. This is the entire world looking at this. China's laughing. Russia's laughing. Obviously, the Taliban are laughing. It's embarrassing. They got all kind of money, all kind of weapons. Now, what Biden said in the clip I showed you earlier about the president leaving, the Afghan president leaving with a bunch of money, that's true. I'm not sure how, but the president apparently of Afghanistan had like $170 million, $170 million in U.S. cash, on a plane and choppers and stuff like that. But he had a bunch more money at his compound that the Taliban now have, U.S. dollars, stacked up. Now, my question is, where did money come from? Did they just give you that money just because? Like, what was the reason they gave you the money? I'm trying to figure it out. But, I mean, that is the problem in a nutshell, really. A bunch of money being thrown around for nothing. Okay, you're talking about how much money over the years did they spend in Afghanistan? Like 2.3 trillion with the T. Not million. That's nothing no more. $1 million, what's that? That's like $5. Not million, not billion, but trillion with a T, $2.3 trillion in 20 years. So yeah, I'm sure that some of that money might have gotten to the president. And for what though? So you could flee when things get bad and go to UAE and stay in one of them big swanky hotels. But it was always going to be this way. Trying to have like a Western style government and military was never going to work. It's just not going to happen in Afghanistan, unfortunately, for those that were there who were able to fight and who want things to be different than what they were. I'm on Twitter right now, and it says they're trying to fact check some of these memes that are coming out. Well, not memes, some of the videos. Did you guys see the reporter from, what was that? Matter of fact, let's just go to it. I have the clip on my Instagram page, instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. Let's play the clip here. The title of this clip is CNN, friendly Taliban, quote unquote, friendly Taliban chant death to America. Also a short clip, check it out. This is on my Instagram as well. But I think it was on CNN. Yeah, CNN at first. Let's check it out.
As soon as we leave our compound, it's clear who is now in charge. Taliban fighters have flooded the capital. Smiling and victorious, they took this city of 6 million people in a matter of hours, barely firing a shot.
This is a sight I honestly thought I would never see. Scores of Taliban fighters, and just behind us, the U.S. Embassy compound.
Some carry American weapons. They tell us they're here to maintain law and order. Everything is under control. Everything will be fine, the commander says. Nobody should worry.
What's your message to America right now?
America already spent enough time in Afghanistan. They need to leave, he tells us. They already lost lots of lives and lots of money. People come up to them to pose for photographs.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
Okay, one more time, roll it back. You might have missed it. You might have been eating your chips. You might have had a crunch on the chip, and you may have misheard that. Maybe you didn't hear the whole thing. Let's run it back and play just that one particular part. Not the entire clip, just that one part.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
How do they seem friendly when they're saying death to America? Those two things don't make any sense now, do they?
At the presidential palace, the Taliban are now guarding the gate. They say they're here to fill the vacuum left when the government fled. But the welcoming spirit only extends so far, and my presence soon creates tension.
It's because of you.
They've just told me to stand to the side because I'm a woman.
Hilarious. But see, you know, they're trying to impose these Western things on them. They don't want that in the country. Now, some may want that, and they're going to have to leave. But a lot of people don't want it. The military are not able to prevent those from coming in power who don't want the Western ideology. So what are you going to do? What can you do? Yeah, CNN is trash. If you guys have not found out by now, CNN is big time trash. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other way to really spin that. They're trash. They're a terrible network. They really are. But it's no surprise to me. Not at all. I had another video here I want to show you guys before I get to the calls. Before I get to super chats, I gotta read those right quick. Let me get to the calls. But I got another one here. No, I can't play that video. That's the one where they're talking about that's the one where they were running with the plane. Okay. I think there may be some more, but I'm gonna save those for a little bit later. Yeah, I'll play those a little bit later. I do have more though. All right. So let's go ahead and read super chats until we get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Y'all give me a little bit of time before we get to the calls. Super chats first, then calls. All right. And let's get to it. Shout out to Apple for a few super chats. I'm going to read right quick. Hold on. Let me just make sure that I got all of them from the very beginning of the show. And this back end stuff works. Okay, I don't have all of them from the beginning. So I'm going to just start. I'm going to start from here. Shout out to Leo Mazzino, who says, when the president turns his back and walks away and refuses to answer questions from the press in Afghanistan, he has also turned his back on the American people. He should be ashamed and resign. Yeah, I think that he might get 25th pretty soon. He may get that because, what else can you do? You know it's bad when the left and the right turn on you. When the mainstream media, who have done everything they can to protect this man, even when it was obvious that he pretty much was deceased, they did everything they could to protect this man. Then they pretty much turned on him. When that happens, you know that you don't have much more time. You know it's pretty much over. So they can appear to be bipartisan or whatever because they know that it's pretty much a wrap. If the media turns it back on you, you're not out there talking, the vice president's nowhere to be found, it's over. I don't see how he comes back from this. I don't really see it. When he talks when he does press conferences, and if he answers any questions, he's not going to get treated well anymore by the mainstream media. Before, it could be anything. He could fall down, almost break his hip bone in half, and the media would like, hey, do you like ice cream? You like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, favorite color? They'll totally ignore the hip almost snapping and say, okay, tell me your favorite ice cream color. That's pretty much over with, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't see how it goes back the other direction now that it's gone that way. Now that it's gone bad, how can it go back good? I don't know, but I digress. Thank you to Pete Sangria, who says, oh, I went way too far. Let's go to better where I was. Oh, no, I'm right. Pete Sangria says New York State residents are going to be forced to present proof of vaccination and ID to verify the proof. But also in New York State, we are a sanctuary state for illegal aliens and voter ID laws are racist. Make this make sense. I'm trying to figure it out. So having the voter ID, that's racist, right? It's disenfranchising, and you prevent minorities from being able to do a thing like voting. But then when it comes to a vaccine passport, they know that only 25% of Black New Yorkers are vaccinated. So it's going to affect Black folks the most, but that's not somehow racist. That's not disenfranchising. I don't understand that makes any sense. Like, they have data. I guarantee you that there are more New Yorkers who are Black who have ID than who have the vaccine. I 1000% guarantee you. I'll bet any kind of money on it. I'll bet any money on that right now today. But the one that has more people that comply with it, that's racist. But the one who has less who comply is not racist. It's weird. It's backwards. All right, let me get to some more here. And I got quite a few on deck, so y'all just hang tight. I'm going to get to them all as soon as I can. And let's see here. Where we at? Shout out to Apple, who says, God bless all Afghan war vets and Navy, Air Force. All Afghan war vets, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Yes, absolutely. He also says, God protect innocent women and children in Afghanistan. The best strategy for President Biden right now is to dismiss VP Kamala, hire Trump as VP, then resign. President Trump would get those 10,000 Americans home. Hey, you know what? If he did that, that'd be hilarious. If he could do that, and if he did do it, that'd be hilarious. But that would work the best as far as being able to make things happen, in my humble opinion. But then again, the left is so crazy. If Trump was to come back, which he's not in this term, but if he was, he could fix the entire Afghanistan and they would still find a way to hate more than they hated on Joe Biden at the end when they knew he wasn't effective. That's politics for you. He also says woke millennials with their degrees but no real world experience are a huge problem with this Ain't no faculty seminar in academia. This is life and death. There you go. President Trump have never left weapons and equipment for the Taliban to steal. President Trump had a plan to evacuate civilians before military. I mean, that makes sense, right? Don't have the military leave before the civilians. That's backwards. The military need to be the ones who are able to safely evacuate people. Then they can evacuate themselves because they can defend. They can make sure the Taliban is at bay, but the civilians can't. Apple says Trump destroyed ISIS, Biden surrendered to the Taliban. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Let me see. Greatness 81 says, was the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan considered an insurrection? If so, why won't the media and Democrats classify as such? You know what? That's a very good question. It's funny how the Capitol riot, or whatever you want to call that, is seen as an insurrection. I mean, nobody had any weapons. Nobody shot their guns if they had weapons. There was only one gunshot, and that was from an officer to a Trump supporter. So, I mean, how was that an insurrection? It was an unruly march, but it was not an insurrection. It was a protest, really. That's what it was. You had those same kind of things happen with BLM all throughout the summer and years prior, and they did much more damage. They actually hurt people. They killed people. But those are just fine, right? Mostly peaceful. What's CNN say? Mostly fiery but peaceful protests. That's how they classify those. But then when there's one, okay, there were 600 of the BLM type rallies or riots in 1 year. 600. But one of the Trump rallies got out of hand. One Trump-centered thing that got out of hand. Just one. It's an insurrection, but the other things are not. In the Taliban takeover, that's a real insurrection. You have arms. You have people that are losing their lives. That's a real insurrection. But they don't want to talk about that. They use these words, insurrection and takeover, to scare people on their side, and they're voting for them and they're voting against the other side. It's all politics, it's all games, really. Shout out to Veronica Sanchez, who says, border crisis, Laredo, Texas, but, quote, nothing to see here. Exactly. Apu says, never underestimate Biden's ability to F things up. There you go. The infamous Barack Obama quote. And, hey, Obama, tan suit, weirdo, not a good president, but he's right sometimes. And he was right at that moment. Let me see. Apu also says elections have consequences, even fake elections. There you go. Also, no admin, official, fire or quit equals no honor in Democrats. Right. Somebody got to get fired for this. I mean, obviously there were some mistakes that happened. It's clear. The things are not done right. This whole thing was a dumpster fire. And when there's dumpster fires that happen, when there's mistakes, where there's screw ups, F ups, whatever you want to say, people get fired. Heads roll. Nobody's getting fired. No heads rolling. They're not serious. Or they might be trying to get rid of the actual guy, the big guy, Joe Biden. We'll see. Tyrannia says, stinky liberal, get some ABL soaps. There you go. Get them soaps. And the box below, we do have soaps. Mission1920.com. Check them out. Apple also says they hate Trump because Trump actually got things done. Trump proves every other politician is lazy, cowardly, corrupt, and useless. God bless DJT. Correct. Also, God bless Larry Elder, future governor of California. Right on. Right on. He has the best chance out of anybody. I think it's bipartisan that they don't want Larry Elder in there. So that'll be able to pass as far as the first question in the ballot. Does Gavin Newsom need to be recalled? Yes. All right. Who's going to be the president? I think out of that second question, Elder would get the most votes. Even if the idea behind removing Gavin Newsom is bipartisan and people that vote Elder mostly on the right, I think he would still get the most votes out of anybody that's in the list, in my humble opinion. We'll see come September the 14th. Hey, that's going to be very, very interesting to see, because there might be some shenanigans going on. Who knows? We'll see. Coming the 14th, we'll see how that whole thing plays out. Is it the 14th when the election happens? Let me make sure that I'm saying the right thing. Yeah, September the 14th on a Tuesday. Correct. Let me see. Terranius says socialist Democrats hate Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat herself. She is not as crazy as other Democrats, but she's not really a friend to us on the right, in my opinion. Apple says, God bless Larry L., the future governor. I read that one. Terranius says, why do you say white man? I think it's funny, but don't know the origin. I just say it. I got it from Family Guy when Stewie was saying it to Brian. So I just say it just because it's funny. Apple says, libs cheer, decrease white population, live in a white area. Exactly. It's all the time. Like I said in the video I did about them cheering about the white population decreasing, they'll cheer fewer white people, but they don't want to live in the area with fewer white people. When Trump got elected, what did they say? I'm going to Canada. Why not Jamaica? Why not Barbados? They speak English. They have an accent, but you can understand. You can get along pretty well. Man, they got plenty of tourists in Jamaica. You be a permanent tourist. Why not? Ain't that far away. If you're living in Florida or somewhere, Texas, get on the plane, you be there in a few minutes. Why not? Why you want to go to Canada, which is more white than the U.S., or you want to go to Europe or somewhere else? It's weird. They don't want to go down to the trenches in America. They want to go to a faraway white land. That's how it always happens. Let me see. Terranius says Megan Rapinoe is pulling a Kaepernick to get paid. All it is. Correct. Thank you to Labra Bulls for the donation, for the goals. Emoji, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you to R. Peacock. If I didn't say that right, pardon me. It's not my fault blaming the white man. R. Peacock says, keep it up, ABL. These woke athletes ought to just shut TFU and dribble the darn puck. There you go. Dribble that puck. Exactly. Don't shoot it. Dribble it. I got you, though. Thank you to Jabraylin, who says, ABL didn't say Obama. Didn't Obama say that Joe spectacularly always screwed something up, a disaster waiting to happen? Yes, he did say that. He sure did. And he's right. Like I said, I'm no Obama fan, but if he's right, he's right. I can't deny that man. If he's correct, he messed this up royally. Thank you to Chris Wegmer. If I say that right. Offhand comment, Netflix canceled John Wayne 100%. Every movie, every documentary, everything with his name in it. Anybody hear a story behind that? I don't know. I think I heard something about that, but I'm not exactly sure what went down. I'm going to look into that. Let me screenshot that right quick. Yeah, I'm going to see what's happening with that, but I don't really know. Labra Bull says, what are they really hiding? We're speaking about Joe Biden going back home to Wilmington and not staying in Camp David or the White House. It's like once you get elected, you stay in the White House. Jess, do you go like back to the house after a vacation? How does that really work? I don't really know. Maybe Trump did it. Maybe Obama did it. I don't really know what's going on. But anyway, and thank you again for being a member for 6 months. I appreciate that. Terranius says, I agree to both, but Afghanistan should have been turned into glass after 9/11. You kill 3,000 civilians, but you get made an example of. Well, the thing about that is Pakistan is also involved with it. And if you try to, well, I won't say they were involved directly, but Pakistan, they're the ones that train Taliban. So, and that's where OBL, Osama bin Laden was found, right? And Pakistan is where they retrieved him. That's where they captured him in Pakistan. So are we going to bomb them too? Now, before we say anything, they got nukes as well. Now you got a nuclear war going on. Do we want that? I'm not really sure. We shouldn't have been there to begin with, really. That's the bottom line. Nicole James says, I watched a video of 20 Afghan commanders that were captured and murdered by the Taliban. So people calling them cowards. Remember, mainstream media only shows and says what they want. My heart hurts for them. Yeah, it's like we knew that the Afghan military and police were not going to be able to fight off the Taliban. We knew that from the very beginning. Like, it was no point in trying to train them, in my humble opinion, because they were not going to be effective. So we didn't do this. We didn't do this operation properly. Biden's got to aware that. Whether they want to say it's Trump's fault, it's Bush's fault for being there in the first place, it doesn't really matter. The guy that executes the mission, the guy that's in charge when the whole thing plays out, he is the one that's responsible, period. And if you want to blame other people, then it's like, well, what are you there for? If you're not there to lead or take responsibility, why are you there? Rustic Patriot says, when Biden addressed the country, it almost looked like he had never read it prior. Yeah, he was reading it as he was going, squinting, not knowing what's going on. I think they are setting him up. He probably doesn't even see the videos of the aftermath falling from the planes. Deep state set up for Kamala. I believe it because when Stephanopoulos was talking about the planes and the Afghans falling from the planes, like, oh, that's 4 or 5 days ago. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just kind of riffing. That's why he's not in front of cameras. They're not going to tell him anything, really. It's crazy, but not to be surprised. Like, I think everybody's seen this coming because we knew that he was not doing very well during the campaign. Didn't even leave his house. He stayed in the basement the whole time. Chris Wetmer says, we're letting the Democrats off too easy by calling Afghanistan, quote, Biden's mess. He's just a puppet reading the script he's been given. The Democratic Party is behind this as a whole. Let's put the blame where it belongs. Oh, yeah, you're right about that. I have no argument here. That's facts. But see, the person in charge ultimately wears the blame. But the entire, really the government, like, where the Republicans at? Where they at talking about this? But the Democrats, the people that are in charge of all government, they did nothing. This whole thing was a disaster. A disaster. Stephen Nally says, should have been civilians, government employees, contractors, active duty. That way, contractors and active could run security escorts for non-military. Exactly. Which means, like, as far as order of evacuation, civilians first, then government employees, then contractors, active duty. Yeah. 100% correct. Thank you to Nicole James, who says, Bush started this. Wasn't he a Republican? Well, you know, you have Bush did start it, but you have, I guess you call them neocons, the Dick Cheneys and John McCain's, these kind of guys are who we're trying to get away from. These guys aren't necessarily Republican or Democrat. That's part of like this one state system we don't want to have anymore. And some of these guys in government are still part of that one state system on both parties, but it's more on the left than the right. That's why you got Marjorie Taylor Greene coming in there. They don't like her because she's not part of that one state system. Trump, same thing. Thank you for T. Angel Rivera says, hey, ABL, everything Joe Biden is doing is hurting American businesses. This Afghan mess is hurting our reputation on the world stage. China is definitely pulling the Biden strings. Yes, 100%. Thank you to Ian Kenny, who says, all I'm saying is you would have seen a bunch of tweets from Trump telling the Taliban to back off, and if they didn't, he would have Soleimani'd them before reaching Kabul. Correct. You know, Trump was the kind of guy that really didn't want to get into conflict, but it was a matter of, okay, if you're doing this to us, we got to retaliate. We're not going to go over there and start stuff with you, but if you want to attack us, you want to do things wrong, well, catch this drone strike and then have that be that. And he did. Thank you to Chris Wetmer, who says, yeah, Nick, but the Biden administration ended it with a disaster. That's a problem. Thank you to Chuck Chavo, who says he's leaving American citizens behind, pure evil. Didersky, if I said that wrong, please forgive me, says a week old use. I'm not going to say what you said, but a piece of trash from a San Fran gutter would be better as president than Beijing Biden. Correct. Shout out to Sever Moore, who says he's wearing that orange man bad tan like Shooter McGavin was privately trying out Happy Gilmore's golfing technique. Hilarious. Thank you to Nicole, who says, imagine how many babies' bodies will start showing up when the parents in Afghan get so desperate and abandon their children out of desperation. Thank you to Cheryl H, who says, don't forget to thumbs up the video. Oh, thank you for that, Cheryl. Yeah, get a video with thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on, but go ahead and subscribe right now. It's totally free. And thank you to Darren for becoming an ABL supporter. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Cole Haterate, who says, I used to work for a guy who supports the Taliban and makes excuses for 9/11. I won't name drop him, but I'll just say, boycott, shake shoes. Uh-oh. Thank you to Joe Ryder 84, who says, if Joe Biden is impeached, should impeach Kamala Harris too, because just as bad as Biden. But because her job, she doesn't do her job as well. Exactly. Thank you to Bob Gable, who says, don't you think that was the plan all along to get Kamala Harris in? She couldn't even compete in the Democratic primaries. Yeah, you know what? That's a possibility. A possibility, because she was polling at 0. And they probably were surprised. Like, we got a black woman and we had a black man in there and he did very well. And she looks just like his sister or something like that. Why can't she do well? Well, I mean, at a certain point, a lot of women don't want a woman to run because they think that men are better at leaders because we're stoic, we're not emotional. We don't, this is from women now, not me saying it. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying this is women saying this. A lot of women don't want a woman president in America. We're not really there yet. Also, they don't like Kamala Harris. And you want to be a Democrat with, some kind of police background, attorney general, locking people up. Like, where is the hook aside from the race and the gender? They think the race and gender play a bigger role in society than it does. They think all this critical race theory is working very well. Not quite. That's why they want to ramp that up a lot. That's why it's a big fight over that, because they want to brainwash your kids so the next time they put a black woman in your face, oh, I'm going to vote for her because she's a black woman. That's why they want to brainwash your children. But different story. I digress. Lucky Monster says, Mr. ABL, are you for us leaving Afghanistan, or do you support some who think we should stay another 20 years? Oh, we should have left Afghanistan, but the problem is we didn't leave properly. If you're going to leave, if you're going to do anything, do it right. And we did not do this right with Afghanistan. That's just the bottom line. Just Incredible says, I'm in Syracuse, New York, and starting to see illegals all over the place. Now, Afghanis, come on now. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that, though. Thank you to Ian Kenny, who says, Obama released a Taliban commander in 2014 who helped orchestrate this week's takeover of Afghanistan. He was one of 5 in exchange for Bo Bergdahl. Yeah, that was a disaster, wasn't it? Thank you to Gamarine, who says, they say Trump is the one who released Guantanamo prisoners 2018. But you put it in the search bar, Obama's name pops up. Right. Thank you to Grant Lee, who says, was this intentional to distract us from the audit? Nah, I don't think so. This is a long time coming. Thank you to Debbie, who says they might be trying to distract so they can push through H.R. 1. Benjamin Blackstar says, we are 8 months into this administration and look how far America has gone south. Thank you to Ian Kenny, who said, watch out for H.R. 121, 155, 167, and especially H.J. Resolution 14, bills and amendments introduced. Thank you to Stephen Alley, who says, I judge everyone on their looks first, action second, character third. Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you to Delta Ski, who says, 2 here. 1 month ago, Wang Yi met with Taliban. Don't be surprised if they are seen hanging Hunter's art. Also, keep pumping about Warren student loan debt forgiveness hype. Don't let the fake Democrats' promises be forgotten. Thank you to Darren Barber. I read that one for becoming a supporter. Thank you to James Lindbergh, who says 34 states need to ratify Congress term limits. Let's get it done. And thank you to Andy Perez, who says, could China be using the Middle East as a proxy to start World War III? Not World War III, but just trying to empower their nation more through Belt and Road, stuff like that. It's going to be a railroad coming through Afghanistan to Europe. Like, that's all about trade. It's all about money, really, and control and influence. It's not really about World War III. If it's going to be World War III, that'll get fought in the South China Sea. And they'll also get fought in the space. That's why they got Space Force. But that's a different story, so I'll move on. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. and go ahead and give me a call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. If you want to get in through Skype, there is an email for that in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can do that, and we can chat that way. And hold on. And thank you to Grant, who says the timing, though, is so suspicious. Well, I mean, it's always going to be weird timing, depending upon how you look at things. You know, that's just part of the game, I suppose. And let me make sure I got everything the way it's supposed to be. And all righty, Skype caller, who we speaking to?
Wow, that was quick.
Yes.
Greetings. How are you? This is Laura DeGoddess from Here's What I Heard. How are you doing today?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm not really sure what to look at here. They changed my Skype up, and I'm like really confused. Okay, there it is. Okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Thank you for taking my call. My goodness, it rang once.
Well,
You're like really there today.
I'm glad you're on. So what's happening?
Well, a couple of statements on what's going on, of course. Appreciate you taking my call because you always get my voice out there. You always get people's voice out there. Hopefully I can do the same someday. I love doing this. Biden and Harris disappeared after this fiasco, and the media says bogus. In the meantime, if Trump would have just went to dinner during something like this, they would have wreaked havoc on him. How bad, how incompetent, how stupid. This is terrible.
That's right. It really is. It shows how biased and corrupt the media are.
No wonder I couldn't see. I'm in a weird mood today. And of course, then afterwards, making people even madder, he blows Stephanopoulos off. I mean, that was just a blow off. Oh man, that was 4 days ago. These people died.
Right, exactly.
I mean, these people died trying to, avoid what he just did, and he just blew it off. That's terrible.
Like, why does it matter if it was 4 days ago, 4 weeks ago, 4 hours? Why does it even? Why would he even say that?
Right. That's what I mean. That's the coldest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Anyway, I heard something that struck me, and then I wanted to share with the audience. It seems that the powers that be are doing all the things that you see that we're doing and everything like that with the vaccines and everything and all the lockdowns and mask mandates and everything like that, just to see how far they can push us before we push back. And now it seems like they're to their final destination because they're going after our children.
Yeah.
And the one thing that this person said that kind of struck me was that if they're going to know for sure, and we're going to absolutely be doomed if we don't fight for our children, because if we don't fight for our children, we ain't going to fight for nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, you guys get out there. And the thing about it is I'm looking at videos with pre-K teachers teaching this nonsense and squealing about it.
It's all part of the greater plan to brainwash children. So whenever they want to put something in front of them that kind of talks to the brainwashing they've already had, they just receive it. Any kind of fake news, any kind of information they could just put out there, and they'll take it. This is, kind of go back to a long time ago. They tried to do brainwashing. Now they're doing it in the school system right in front of our eyes, and people are really trying to fight back against it.
To kids as young as 2 and 3 and 4 now. They're starting real early.
Yeah.
Anyway, that lady that said friendly death to America, another oh my God moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did anybody happen to get a load of the guys that were behind her while she was filming that? They looked like they were about to eat her.
Because they don't really see women at all in public.
Right. Well, and of course you showed right after. I never saw the clip afterwards that you showed where they told her to step aside.
Right.
Because she's female. Where are you, feminists?
Nowhere to be found. They don't want to get a lot of Watbart.
Yeah, actually, I've been seeing something on my feed while I was watching you just now that reported something about that the next day that the Taliban actually threatened to pistol whip her producer. CNN better get their people up out of there.
Yeah, I don't know why they're there, because you see it's not safe. I mean, what's the point in being there risking your life to prove a political point?
Well, it sounds to me like it was just another way for them to funnel a bunch of money to themselves and their cronies.
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay, I'll end with the funny. Something else that came across my feed, Donald Trump Jr. He says, honestly, we should really stop hitting Biden for being on vacation while the world burns. Just think how much worse he could make things if he was actually working on them. All right, y'all out there, stay safe, stock up, and I guess lock up too.
Right on. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. Everybody have a great night.
All right, now.
Good night.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, that's a good point though, because I mean, what if he's actually trying to do things properly? Like, it's better that he does not stick around rather than sticking around and doing things wrong. His staff are not going to do it very well, but at least they can kind of walk in the straight line and count to 10. So it would be bad, but not as bad. That makes sense. All right, let's get to the next one. And let's go 618, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 61. Hello?
Hey, ABL, I was calling to thank you for your shares all the time. And also, I keep hearing everybody complain about, I am not a Biden supporter, but I keep hearing everybody complain about, oh, he brought everybody home and left all these planes, helicopters, SUVs, Humvees, weapons over there. You know, when we went over there to train them, and we took supplies there. But that wasn't, you know, we're going to come and train you with our equipment and then bring all of our equipment home and leave you over there with nothing. Did he do it wrong? I think he did. I think he just totally blew it. But for everyone to be jumping on this, well, you left all of our weapons, you left all of our transportation, you left everything of it. Well, what were they supposed to defend themselves with if we'd have brought all that home?
Well, I mean, I've heard that before, but see, the thing is, they can't even use all our stuff. They had a flight simulator. What you gonna do with a flight simulator, really?
Well,
I mean,
see, that's wrong. That's wrong.
See, okay, but see, hold on, caller, listen. I gotta just finish right quick. Now, they left a flight simulator, and then they left some of these Black Hawk choppers, things that they had not trained them to really use. So some things need to leave. You need to leave some weapons. You need to leave the things that are appropriate for them to use. Not everything.
No, I agree. I said it. I agree. I think they did blow it. But 90% of the stuff over there that was left was donated to them so they could protect themselves.
Well, I'm not quite sure.
They didn't need the flight simulator, and they shouldn't have left a few other things, but they were Black Hawk pilots over there. There were also fighter jet pilots over there. So that's why they're going down the list now, tracking these people down and pull them out and beheading them right now as we speak.
See, the problem is that we knew that they weren't going to be able to fight. We knew that from the beginning. Everybody knew that. This is something that is not a secret. So why leave all that stuff you didn't have to? Like we just abandoned it. We didn't do it properly. And then also, if we did if we did it properly, then this wouldn't be that big of a situation. We could have got all the civilians out, all the American citizens out, if we just handled things appropriately. But we just didn't do that. We just abandoned in the middle of the night and left everything. Left all the civilians. We left everything behind we should have taken. You leave some things, of course, but you don't just abandon the whole country.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But let me ask you one more question. What has this administration done right, though, since they've been in? What have they done? Has there been anything they have done right? I mean, they did good. They did right on that election. But other than that, is there anything that they've done right or been able to sweep under the rug like they did the election?
They've not done anything right.
I haven't seen it either. Well, thank you for your time, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I hear a lot of people saying, you know, they left all of our stuff, they left all of our ammunition, they left all of our weapons, well, what were they supposed to protect? And there's a lot of good people over there. Is there bad people? Yes, but there's a lot of good people over there too that would put their life on the line for an American. And everybody's just up in arms over it now. Like, you left them all kinds of weapons. But I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for the share and everything. You have a good night, buddy.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I see what he's saying because I've heard that before. Like, they were saying the things were left there for the Afghans. I think the Biden administration, they came out and said the same thing, but they didn't leave. They just abandoned the country, middle of the night, just bounced without telling anybody. It's like, all right, we gone. And they just left all this stuff. Things that the Afghan military would have no use for. What you need with a flight simulator when you can't even, when you got to get trained by somebody to do that. I mean, this whole operation was a dumpster fire from top to bottom, period. And there's no point in trying to defend it because we all know it was a dumpster fire. We got more calls on the line, though. Let me get to some of these here. Let's go to 201 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 201, hello. All right, don't get cold feet, 201. Let's go to the next one. All right, 407, who am I speaking to? 407.
Hey, man, I don't want to necessarily give my name because I work for a military consulting company here in Florida.
Got you.
But first of all, thank you for what you're doing and for all of our people out there that are patriots. Second of all, we have two retired generals that sit in our office, and I kind of discuss a little bit with them what's going on over there. And I want to touch on one first. What the gentleman said over there about the weapons that are sitting there. All of those should have been disposed of, including the embassy. Well, obviously, when they get everybody out to dispose of all of that. Second of all, everybody that has this opinion that we should cater to everybody, we only have one group of people that we're obligated to, and that's Americans. And I think that's something that we all forget about. We need to worry about ourselves first and everybody else second. And, here we are. We have, I don't know what the number is, the exact number, but we have X amount of Americans that are sitting over there right now that may be beheaded. They may be executed. We don't know. And nobody gives a shit. And I'm sorry for the language, but, that aggravates the holy hell out of me that we're leaving all these Americans over there. And I kind of wanted to get your perspective on that as well. Like, here we are leaving all these people over there. And Biden's sitting here going, well, it is what it is. Like, we'll get over there whenever we can. And why would you go out and pull all of our soldiers out before we got all of our people out? And I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place right now. I get it, but I'm frustrated just like everybody else. I wanted to get your perspective on that too, and what your insight is on that.
Yeah, I think that this whole thing was just it was poorly done from the very beginning. There was no plan. If there was a plan, I can't really tell. What was the plan? It should have been, I think Trump said it earlier on Hannity when he was talking about the military should have been the last to leave because you need to facilitate the exit of American citizens. If we promise people like the interpreters and whatnot that they will have safe passage out of the country after we leave, you got to honor our promises. You can't just leave them and say, okay, we promise you this, but we're not going to do it. We got you for your services for the translation. Now we're going to abandon you. But you got to get the American citizens first. Then your collaborators, anybody you work with, if that's possible. But first, the American citizens. And for goodness sakes,
damn right.
You can't just leave all this tech laying around because it's going to go into the hands of the Taliban, might go into the hands of Iran, China, adversaries. This is a national security risk. It's a terrible, complete blunder. And that might cost this man his presidency because now even the left are turned on him. The mainstream media turned on him. It's bad. It's really bad.
Absolutely. And I saw all that today. And one of our guys was in a JSOC meeting today, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And, when he came out, he was just shaking his head. He's like, I'm a retired general being called in to support. But you see all the generals today backpedaling. And all of them went against what Biden had said in his press briefing, or his brief press briefing, I guess you could say. And, they all went against him saying, no, wait a minute. No. We were told by him to do what we had to do to get everything cleared out as fast as we possibly can versus standing our ground and with, holding up basically Trump's policies, which were, hey, look, if you do anything that's going to put any American lives in danger, we're going to come after your ass. And here he is, just completely given in. And, that's a big frustration on my side, is the fact that we're given in. And we're on the world stage, and everybody, and what they say, I think it was last night, he called Boris Johnson the only world leader. He called at 10-something p.m. And there's no basis on the conversation yet that I know of. There might be. I haven't seen it. But, he comes out and talks to Boris Johnson, nobody else. But everybody else thinks we're a joke. So where do we go from here? I mean, as far as your opinion, where do we go from here?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't really know. There could be a change in administration, but I don't know how that really looks. I think it'd be the same thing we had going on, because I don't think from the beginning Biden was leading the show. It was those that are behind the scenes. And if you
no.
Yeah, if you get rid of him and let's say you put Kamala Harris in there, I don't see how it improves. So it's going to be bad for until the next election time, in my humble opinion.
But is the damage already done?
I think so. I'm not really sure what can be done to reverse course. It needs to be people that are within the administration, people that are close to it at least, that can stand up and do something. Because we know that those that are in power right now are not going to be able to change it.
No, absolutely. And I'll release the phone to the next caller. But, I feel the same way you do. I think it's pretty much, it's a wrap. But, we get Harris in there and then what? I mean, it goes even further down the rabbit hole. And then what? Where do we go from there? And I think that's what I'm scared about. You know what I mean? I'm not young. But I worry about all this because, thank God I live in Florida with DeSantis and somebody that at least has a law and order state. But for everybody else, I have that concern too.
That's right. Right on.
All right, man. You have a great night. I appreciate you putting me on.
All right. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, man. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the military guys out there. I know you guys are frustrated. I know. I feel you. Shout out to you guys, man. We got your back. Whatever we can do, we got your back. That's all I can offer you. It might not be a lot, it might not be much, but that's all I got for you. I got your support 100%. You have my support, put it to you like that. Let's get to the next one. Let's go. All right, let's try. And the phone lines are blowing up, so y'all give me a little bit. 631, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's Claire.
All righty, what's going on?
What?
I said, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
All right, hold on. Do you have the speakers on in the background?
Yeah, I had it on, but I just turned it off.
Okay, cool.
All right. How you doing?
I'm well, can't complain.
What? I'm sorry?
I said I'm well, can't complain.
Oh, good. I just wanted to say that I'm really frustrated, too, about this Afghanistan thing. Why he can't get the Americans out is unbelievable. Why would he do that? Why would he leave tens of thousands of people behind? Nobody ever does that. I've lived in a foreign country. That's not what you do. You're always in touch with your embassy. And if you can't get them out from going over, do the tunnel. Get them out from the tunnel. Just get them out of there. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand it.
I mean, you're right. You're right about that, but people don't always think clearly. They do things that don't make any sense a lot of times.
Well, I mean, they got to get the people out. They can't leave them there. They'll get killed, and that's just not right. And don't tell me you don't have the people that know how to do this. We do. So he should be doing that. That's what he should be doing. But I hope you don't hear anything about it, but he's got to get them out of there. Honestly, I mean, he's got to do it secretly, but he's got to get them out.
That's right.
Yeah. They cannot leave all those people there. It's just not right. Just not right. And that's my opinion. That's all. I just wanted to say that. Tunnel him out. I don't care how he gets him out, but get him out of there.
I agree with you. And thank you for the call. Definitely
right.
appreciate it.
I'm sorry?
I said, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Anthony. Have a good night.
All right,
Bye-bye.
now. All righty. Shout out to the caller. And let's get to some more here. You online? I'm speaking to 937.
Hey, it's Mike from Ohio. How you doing today?
Well, can't complain.
Good, good. Hey, I just wanted to talk about a little bit on Afghanistan, right? So it's a big mess. And I don't believe that Biden is going to last his full term. I think Kamala is going to be in there. It's just a matter of time. And how bad do you think that's going to be based on, she was chosen based on genitalia and skin color, not merit. So is it going to be other people running the show like it is now, or do you think that's going to change?
It'll be the same as it is right now. It won't be any different because Kamala Harris is not really a qualified person, in my humble opinion, to be trying to run anything. And people knew
Right.
that. That's why she didn't have any success in the primary. She was pretty much pulling that zero. So it'd be the same people that run the show right now. Like I was telling the previous caller, a military guy, I think it'd be pretty bad up until either one or two things. The first thing is we just wait until 2024 and get a new administration, or we have people that are in the government that are on the Democrat side kind of break rank, step up and take charge and, have the whole thing going a different direction. But I don't really foresee the second part happening. I see the first thing happening. We just got to kind of suffer.
Right, right. So, okay, so following up on that. Okay, so in my opinion, this is my opinion, it's the way I feel Trump is out. I feel he's no good to bring back because he's too toxic. He's labeled a racist. If you vote for him, you're racist. It's just going to bring more problems. So with that said, how do you get somebody in there with his similar views on foreign affairs, bring jobs back to America instead of ordering, everything from China? So how do we go from there for 2024? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, before 2024, I mean, there's ways you can kind of go about it. Like maybe you can get people in the Senate. You might try to change that because the way it is now, the Democrats they control pretty much everything. So try and get the Senate, try and get the House. If you could change that, you might be able to have people to come in there and shake things up. So I think it'd be very important next year, 2022, extremely important to gain more seats, to have some control, because the way it is now, they got total control. They can do whatever they want, and they're leading their ship straight into the water. So I think that'll probably be the way to try and get it turned around.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, we have to do something because the way it is right now, it's like everything's just turned upside down. It's just crazy. Like rent for free, but yet I'm going to collect my payments. You know what I mean? Because of the position I'm in government. You know what I mean? So I can't remember who stated the quote, but he said, "Show me a politician that's wealthy, and I'll show you a crook." And that is absolutely 100% true. Our politicians of today are in there for money, and they're crooked. That's just the way I believe.
That's right. Absolutely.
I feel that way. So one more question real quick. Stocking up. I heard that lady say stock up and lock up. Is that due, or do you think that's due to China shutting down their ports over there?
What do you mean?
COVID? So there was I think it was last week or the week before, they had one case of COVID and they shut down the entire port.
Oh, okay.
Because of one case of COVID.
Uh-huh.
It was just a story. I thought you may have been talking about it. Somebody was. I can't remember. But they said that there was one case of COVID and they shut the whole port down. Now, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. It's just what I remember hearing somebody talking about. And I didn't know if that was going to bring back another, not toilet paper shortage, but just a bigger shortage. I guess I'm more worried about a bigger shortage of more items like that because we rely on China way too much, and we need to get that back to America. You see what I'm saying?
I think the problem with any kind of shortage of things you would need every day would be about a lack of American production. I'm not really sure that a port closing in China would really cause that, because even the toilet paper, that was just people just what happened with that was it was a run on the toilet paper. People went out there and they were getting like 18 containers of it at once and hoarding it. That was the problem.
Right. Okay. So it wasn't it was just a hoarding problem AF for whatever reason. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Take it easy.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that whole thing with the toilet paper was crazy. It's like, why was that the first thing to get? Okay, you think about, we got a lockdown, right? Why would you go out there and get that first? I didn't, because, I'm from Virginia, of course, and you out there on the beach or on the coast, you're dealing with hurricanes a lot, right? Just like if you live in New Orleans or something like that, it's the same thing. You always hear, the hurricane coming, get stocked up. People be boarding there. Like if you live in Outer Banks or somewhere, you boarding your house up and you going to get supplies. What we get? People always get water, of course. You got to have water, canned goods, non-perishable items, food. Toilet paper, that's not a thing that we really even think about getting. I mean, you would have some, but it wouldn't be like, I got to get 45 rolls or 45 containers of it. It's just, people just are scared into stupidity. That's what caused the shortage, is the hoarding and the fear. It was crazy. That whole time was ridiculous. All right, let's go. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, how's it going?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Good. So get this. When I was watching it, hold on, let me turn you down. Sorry, I had the speaker up. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So basically, when I watched what was going on in Afghanistan, I was shocked to even see that CNN even said that Biden screwed up. That was a shocker.
That was very shocking.
I never thought I would hear Don Lemon say, "Nope, Biden, you screwed up. Sorry, I can't defend you." I'm like, wow, even CNN saying he screwed up. So I was like, I'm just curious of what's going to happen now, because now it's like, because the news is all over, and watching those people fall from a plane, getting run over by the gears, just trying to jump on a Air Force One, and them people are holding on desperately and they're falling from the sky. I've seen 2 people fall right to their death, hit the tarmac.
There was somebody else that was stuck in the gear, and there was a picture taken of the person from the window. Like
yeah.
You would go, you be in the plane, look out the window. There was somebody in the gear. Their legs were.
Yeah, I heard you talking about it earlier.
That was crazy.
And another thing I wanted to touch on was like some lady was trying to argue with me saying that Trump was responsible for this. How I know they're going to try to blame everything on Trump. They said Trump was responsible for it, but they said Trump put something into effect in 2018. And she said that Biden couldn't stop it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Biden? You tell me Biden couldn't do an executive order to stop it? And it's like she was just like saying how it was Trump's fault. Trump was the one who did it. But I'm like, Biden's been in office for 7 months, and he allowed this to go on for 7 months. He didn't know this was going on. So it's still his fault at the end of the day. Regardless, you can try to blame Trump as much as you want. It's still Biden's fault because he made the call, and he's the one in office right now. He's been in office for 7 months. He didn't just get in office. He's been in almost 7-8 months now. So he's still to blame.
I mean, the thing is, and Trump had a plan that was already in place, and the Biden administration scrapped his plan. So how are you going to blame Trump when the plan that he gave you didn't even follow? So no,
exactly.
You have your own plan that you wanted to do. You made the plan. You executed the plan, and it's a disaster. So you got to wear that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's the one that made the call to do it. And another thing is, they said, and she tried to tell me Guantanamo Bay, how Trump released prisoners from Guantanamo Bay back in 2018. But when I tried to Google, I typed it into the Google search. I didn't see Trump's name pop up. I didn't see Joe Biden's name up. Whose name did I see pop up? Obama's name popped up at the bottom. And it said, and I saw something else that said he released some prisoners back in 2014.
That's right. Sure did.
Is it? Oh, wait, he did?
Obama, yeah, in 2014. Yep.
Oh, yeah. And wait, and I got another thing I wanted to touch on, right? So I was talking with somebody, right, and they were saying how they was talking about, police brutality and all that stuff, and I was like, having a conversation because he was saying I was starting to sound like Uncle Tom. I was like, what are you talking about? Because he was saying, no, he's black like me. So I said to him that most of the situations, I said the situations like the ones that was on mainstream media, I researched those. Now I can't talk about every situation that's not on news. He says you can't talk about something that you haven't experienced. I'm like, what are you talking about? I researched it. I know what I'm talking about. I've watched the videos. See, but I think what it was, I wasn't trying to change his opinion, but now his experience with police, I'm not going to deny that. There are some a-hole police out there. I'm not going to deny that. And there's some cops out there that think they're gangsters. But he was trying to compare his situation. It sounded like he was trying to compare his situation compared to like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all that. I'm like, no. That's a completely, totally different situation. Those people could have prevented all that stuff from happening. Well, Derek Chauvin was that was police incompetence. But for real, a lot of those people who you seen on mainstream media all last year, oh, black people getting shot by police, they all could have prevented that. They put themselves in those situations. Let's just be honest. Like, that's why I said to them, like, you can't compare your situation, your experience with police to their experience, because those people were just dead wrong. And they know they was wrong.
That's right.
And I'm like, you can't do it. It's just, I respect your views, but when you do the research, I did the research on all those, like you said, and I watched a whole bunch of conservatives. It was like, no, those people were living a lifestyle that was bound to get them in trouble anyway. Bring the police to them. Over Afghanistan, the fact I saw the pictures, all the choppers, the equipment, and some of the armored Humvees they left over there. They just left a whole bunch of stuff, especially with the 50 cals in them. Yep. I want to see how this goes. I'm keeping up with this story.
Oh, definitely, because it's going to be ongoing. This ain't the end. We see it normally. Like things like this happen on social media or just on the news. It's like 24 to 48, 72 hours and it's done. This is going to be going on for a very long time, and we're going to see how it plays out throughout the years.
Exactly. Yeah, and one more thing, like what happened over in Israel, that attack that happened over in Israel, I was keeping up on that story nonstop because it was insane how they were just firing rockets, and they were actually staging it to the point to make it look like Israel troops were attacking the terrorists in Gaza, but really the terrorists were just staging it and staging photos. It was just insanity.
Right.
All right. Yeah, but thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a nice one.
Same to you. All right. Good call. And the lines are open and they're jumping. The number to call 434-658-1220. 219, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ATC, my friend.
All righty. What's happening?
What's not happening? Trying to keep myself from not going to a state of depression.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Where to begin? That's the trick part. Besides the obviously big one.
Right. I mean, just start from the top. Whatever's on your mind, top of mind.
Well, more likely getting something off of my chest, but all right. But obviously, the obvious elephant in the room is the whole Afghan thing. I mean, like pulling out all the troops, going out with a whimper with our tails tucked between our legs instead of actually at least giving a favorite finger to the world kind of deal.
Yeah, it's really shameful, embarrassing too. International embarrassment. Actually, I'm seeing international newspapers mocking us. It's bad.
No, I mean, like, we've always been pretty much being the butt of the joke sometimes, but this, we are now officially the butt of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just, Jesus Christ. Not only that, but also because of after this massive blunder, no doubt that I'm placing a bet that, and I don't want to look forward to it, but around either the 9th month or the 10th month, that's when our powder keg is really going to go off. Because, I mean, this is definitely going to be that spark. And it's going slowly to the fuse, which will then go to that powder keg.
So what do you think? What would be the crescendo? What would be the end result of all this?
Well, there's pretty much multiple scenarios that can happen. One of them being that a massive civil war would happen. I mean, I hear reports about where more states are thinking about seceding from the Union. So, and with this, on the other hand, no doubt this would probably be adding more to the scale that get more states to say, forget it, let's not be a union anymore. It's every man, woman, and child for themselves. Another one will be is pretty much like some kind of like crazy anti-event to happen to remove the idiots in charge by force, or another catastrophic failure. The possibilities are endless.
Well, I don't know about that part. I think a lot of people are not really trying to fight. So I'm not really sure it would go that way.
Yeah, but then, like I said, around for either the 9th or the 10th month is because since with a certain date on September, if something really stupid had happened, I think that will really snap people off. And, well, it ain't going to be pretty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really hard to keep your morale up. I mean, after all this blundering, and then, of course, with the whole blame game, oh, yeah, it's evil Orange Man that's done it all. It's, good God. You feel like you just want to get off this planet. That's how bad it's getting.
Yeah, but I think that things can turn around. It's just rough right now. That's all.
Yeah. I'm definitely taking the first caller, I think, her advice is to stock up on supplies. I mean, once my paycheck comes in, I am definitely going to get rid of some MREs and such. I'd rather be at least prepared instead of having my, with my pants pulled down or something like that.
Yeah, you want to be ready. That's the way to be. Be prepared rather than not being prepared.
Yeah. One thing is that, last thing, my mother made a comment saying that I think we should have Biden stay in office. Not because she's a supporter, no, it's because if he's out, we're going to get the next worst person in office. So it's kind of a good meaning of being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I mean, the truth is that I don't think you can get worse than Biden because it's not even Biden running it. Well, I'll put it to you like this. Both Biden and Harris are the same, essentially, because the people that are behind the scenes run the show, not them. Kamala Harris has no idea what's going on. She's not even really privy to what's happening. And Biden does not know what's going on because he can't understand what's going on. It's people that are behind the scenes running the show, and they're doing a bad job. So that's what that is.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially like how when you got the military commanders, pretty much, they're like, it kind of reminds me a bit like how in history where you got these like military officers that have never been through basic training. It's just their parents, their mommies and daddies had bought their badges and their uniforms for them. Paid to win kind of generals, so to speak.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's why, I mean, like with all this kind of stuff going on, how no scorched earth tactics, no saving the civilians first, and then some of the other important people, none of that. And then, of course, you got the politicians that pretend like, oh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. This is like Vietnam 2.0.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for the call. I got a few more on the line I'm going to get to. Appreciate you for the call.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, one thing. Thanks for listening. It means a lot.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Keep up the good fight, man.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And let's get to the next one here. And the phone lines are jam-packed. So I'm going to try to get you on. If you can't get on, it's not my fault. Blame the white man. And, okay. Give me 1 second here. Let's go. 256 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 256, hello.
Yes. This is Rebecca.
All right, what's going on? Okay,
yeah,
okay. Hold on. Caller, listen. Caller, listen. Turn speakers off in the background for me, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have anything on in the background? Any speakers? Any TV?
Do I have what?
Any speakers or TV on in the background?
I just turned them down.
Okay, all righty, go for it.
Yeah, I would just like to say that, in my opinion, I don't think that this entire situation, that Biden withdrawing from Afghanistan the way he did so abruptly, I don't think it was botched. I think it was planned in order to conveniently turn over the weapons in the Black Hawk over to China, because there is no way that the United States in any way, shape, or form would have approved it.
Okay, so what was the what would be the purpose in doing that intentionally?
Because of the strong ties that Biden has with China, and the China embassy over there in Kabul has been left totally and completely untouched.
Okay.
It may not, they may not, I don't know how to say this, but, it may never be put out there in the public, but I really feel like this is what's happened. I don't think it was botched, and I think that's why Biden has been as quiet as he has. I think it's been planned all along. It was the only way to turn over the weapons to the Taliban, because China's right there ready to back up Taliban.
So how would that, like, who's that going to benefit? Would it benefit China?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's part of him, wanting to take basically the whole world over. I mean, look what's happening with Australia. And the leader of Australia, he has close ties with CCP. So, they're already starting the quarantine camps.
Okay.
This is just my opinion. I'm just been watching a lot of what's going on, and it just seems like I'm putting pieces of a puzzle together.
Right. I understand. All
So
right.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
All right, now. All right. Shout out to the caller. I mean, that take, I don't think so. But it's a take. I mean, a lot of you guys saying that is, you agree. I mean, I won't say that. I'll put it to you like this. I don't think it's that far off of what is possible, because we've seen these kind of things happen before, where the government does and they shouldn't be doing to help other countries and to destabilize. It's possible, but I think it was botched. I think it was botched because you have to understand what the kickback about this is going to be. You got all these Americans over there. And I think it was botched, in my opinion, because not only will it go to the Chinese, it'll go to the Iranians, it'll go to everybody. It'll go to whoever's out there. So, but hey, things happen, I suppose. Let's go to 208. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 208 hung up. Not my fault. Let's go to the next one. 609, you're on the line. I'm hanging up so quick. Just stay on the phone. Okay. Let's try this one more time. 609, hello.
Hey, ABL?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got you. Oh my gosh. My husband and I are really big fans of of you. And my husband's actually deployed in Afghanistan right now. And I heard you said earlier what you wanted to do for all of them. And I'm just saying, like, just hope and pray for them that they get home safely. And I hope all the veterans, I hope all the military and their family, I hope they remember this in 2024 and get this clown out of office. Because I'm so pissed that my husband is over there right now and worried for his safety. And they're also now talking about sending reinforcements and sending more military over there to back up because of all the craziness going on. And I only get to talk to him for a little bit each day. And he was telling me that if it doesn't clear up in the next week or so, that it's actually going to get worse and they might have to send more. And I can't.
Wow.
I just want our family. I just want people back home. I want them all safe and sound back home.
Yeah. Now, the good news about that is if you send in reinforcements, you'll be able to, your husband will be able to have some backup to be able to kind of, it won't be the way it is what we saw on television where you got just chaos happening all over the place. It'll be more stable. But the bad news is, I mean, the troops were supposed to come home. It's supposed to be a drawdown. It's supposed to be a plan in motion. So hopefully what they can do is regroup and then actually have a plan to exit, have a plan to do things properly rather than just what's happening right now, which has just been a complete disaster on an international level.
It has been, and it's just crazy. He said when he first got there, everything was trashed. There was trash everywhere. Water bottle. The facilities are trash where they can't even take showers.
Wow.
They're wiping themselves down with baby wipes.
Wow. Crazy.
That's how terrible it's gotten for our troops over there. So that's the only thing I can think of that we can do for them is send our thoughts and prayers over there to our troops and just make sure they get home safe and sound. Everyone that I know of, my friends, their sons, daughters, spouses, whoever, they're all panicked too. We're all panicked and we're all just a mess.
I hear you. So we got your back. You know, we send our prayers out there to them. I believe everything will be fine for us. But I think this whole thing is it just kind of highlights what kind of morons we have in DC. You know, your husband and your guys out there, they're doing their job. They're doing their job well, and we'll be able to get this thing turned around. That's what I believe. So I think everything will be all right.
Yeah, he calls him Sleepy Joe, and he says, "I hope Sleepy Joe." This is why I definitely did not vote for Sleepy Joe because of this mess that I have to go through.
That's right.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that my husband and I are really big fans, and we watch you all the time. We really appreciate your show, and we actually get our news from you. So we wanted to give a shout out to you and say thank you. Thank you for the service you're providing for us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, now, same to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, like I say, shout out to all the military families. Hey, we got you back over here for sure, 1,000%. And this whole episode with Biden, it just illustrates to those that don't know, we all know what's going on with Biden, but this episode illustrates how incompetent they are. Left, right, political, whatever. I mean, incompetent or not. I don't think that's what happened under Trump. I think Trump had a plan, and the Biden administration scrapped the plan with no plan of their own to replace it. If there is a plan, then let's figure out what that plan is, because I don't really see that there is one here. All right, let's get to some more here. The number to call 434-658-1220. 602, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey. Cool. This is Steven. I've been listening for a really long, or not really long time, but about a year now. And I was just calling to see what you thought about the audit that's going around for the forensic audit for Texas, the one that Mike Lindell did his symposium for.
I've not really been following that, the audits or anything. I'm just, honestly, I'm ready for the results. If it's going to go one way, the other way. Yeah, I'm ready for the results. Like, I see a lot of updates and whatnot, but it's like, I kind of get fatigued.
What's going on?
Yeah, I get fatigued because I watch so much news all day. I read so much all day. I get very fatigued when I don't see a story that has a conclusion or an end date in mind. So once we get to the conclusion, once we get to the end date, then at that point I pay attention. But right now, I can't really, I don't have the capacity to pay attention to it that much.
I'm the very same. My dad is always, because I bought to him a lot of the conservatives. I would watch like you, the Hodge twins, Brandon, a few others, like the guy who drives and records in his car. All of you guys are, black males. So I was like, there's no way that these guys are like lying to themselves, Right. And then I don't know, maybe he just got too deep into stuff and not that the audit is fake, but I'm kind of like, if anything would have happened, the Supreme Court kind of would have did it, So I really don't pay attention to that. But with things like this, and I'm like, tangible, issues with things that they've said are, maybe we should leave them on their own or however they want to say it. It doesn't work,
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I had to say. I'm really glad I got through. I doubted I would, but it was amazing talking to you. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, great call. Let's get to some more here. Number to call, 434-658. You know the rest. 409, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi. My name is Ann.
All righty.
I was calling about something that happened earlier tonight. I was watching, before I flipped on to watch your show, I was watching Josh Phillips on Crossroads, and he had this guy on there who was from Brazil, and they were talking about the Brazilian courts have, I don't know why it was held in Brazil, I guess because it can't be held here. They have cleared Trump of any wrongdoing during the January 6th, during his speech, that he did not incite violence. And then it was cut off. It was like 20 minutes into it, and it was taken down.
Okay.
I don't know if you had heard anything about that.
Now, I not heard anything about it. I don't know anything about that. But I think, there won't be there's not been any kind of criminal trial here in the States. I mean, I don't know what the trial before, and clearly he didn't do anything wrong. He was talking about law and order and peace and everything else. So, I mean, that should be, if there was a case against him, it should be open and shut.
Now, there was the guy's name was Alan, Allan, Dos Santos. And if you look up Alan Dos Santos and put in Crossroads with Joshua Phillips, it comes up to an Epic Times story. If you click on that, it comes up 404 and says it can't be, that's blocked as well. So you can't read the article.
Okay.
So got some funny business going on.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything to be worried about at all. Because, like I say, Trump did nothing. There's nothing going on. So I don't think that's really anything.
Right. I don't see I don't see that a Brazil court would have any standing in the United States.
They don't.
Maybe on the world stage, but it just kind of it's kind of crazy that that was just like taken down. Like, oh, no violation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
US people don't need to hear that.
Yeah, they don't have any standing here, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, that it wouldn't affect us. They could say whatever they want to say, but that's not the United States.
Right. Yeah. I just thought it was kind of funny in not in a kind of a weird way, and thought I'd let you know. And it's really nice talking to you. I've been listening to you for months.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You're awesome. Thanks. Bye.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far tonight, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up if you've not done so already. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that as well, because that helps me out tremendously. Let's get to 1 million sometime soon. If YouTube wants to play along, that'd be fantastic. All righty. 447 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Amber. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Who am I speaking to?
Amber.
Okay. What's going on?
Uh,
All right. But hold on. Before we start, hold on. Before we start, you have noise in the background. Turn that down for me, please.
Okay. Sorry. I do apologize. Sorry. Is that better?
All righty. Let's go for it. Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. Yeah. There's a bit of
Okay,
There's a bit
okay,
of a
all right,
delay.
check it out. Just talk to me on the phone. Do not look at the stream.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you off. Can you hear me now?
I hear you well. Let's go for it.
Okay, cool. Hiya, how you doing?
Everything's great.
Good. I hope everyone's good. I'm Amber. I'm from the UK, and
Okay. Can you hear me? You there?
yeah, I can hear you. I see you. Wait, I'm not looking at the TV because you told me not.
Okay, all right.
TV.
Let's talk on the phone, please.
Okay, cool. So, I just want to say hello to everyone, and I'm from the UK. I've got a lot of support for you guys. We're going through a lot of stuff. It's not as, like you going through worse stuff than we're going over here, but I just want you all to know that we've got your back. We support you. We know what you're going through. There's still a load of idiots over here, but there is everywhere. But we're going to get through this. And this whole Afghanistan thing, it started off with us. Well, Tony Blair was our prime minister. And yeah, he should be tried for war crimes the same way as Osama bin Laden and I can't even know, Hussein. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been trying for a while. Sorry for I'm a bit tired, but I just want you guys to know that we're here for you. We see what's going on, and you're doing a great job. It's not often I catch your lives because obviously it's set with a time difference. But I'm glad that I caught you and that you answered, and I really appreciate everyone and what you're doing, and the faith and the support that you're just giving everyone and everything. Because we need people like you, and yeah, without you and without like PCP and all the other ones that are out there, you know, you need to know that you're doing good and you're appreciated.
I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry. I will call in again. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's good. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Tony Blair, yeah, he should be in prison.
Okay, we don't. Okay, shout out to the caller. Let's not try my patience tonight, please. You know, I'm a super nice guy, but let's just not. How about that? Let's get to the next one. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Man, 20 years down the drain.
Yep.
Man, to be honest, I think that it was a waste of time because no matter what you do, they're not going to change their values. I understand that it's their culture, and you don't have to change the culture, but it's the values. And they're not going to change. They weren't going to change that. On top of that, they're still going to be sympathizers to the Taliban because at the end of the day, they're all Muslims.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, have you been hearing about a little fallout from the Olympics?
What fallout are you talking about?
Well, there's a couple of them. One, China fudging their gold medal count. Did you hear about that?
I saw that where they took Taiwan's medals and put it into their own count.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And you know what? I would say the greatest victory in the Olympics is when the Taiwan men's double badminton beat China. And when the Indonesia women double badminton beat China. And when the men's single Denmark beat China. Also with the weightlifting, no, not weightlifting, the wrestling, how Japan mopped the floor with China in that match. Just took 2 minutes to defeat China.
Right.
Those are the greatest victories I've ever seen. In fact, I broke down crying a little. I'm serious because, yeah, when it came to when Taiwan beat China, because the stuff that they're going through with China, and they beat them in probably the best sport that China dominated. Yeah. The second fallout is the women 200-meter race. Did you hear about that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, this ex-Polish sprinter saying that he wants a sex test with the silver medalist of the 200-meter race. I was baffled because it's like, why you're pointing out to the silver medalist that she didn't win, she just came in second. I went back and looked at that race, and like, I understand, because she started on the home stretch second to last when there was already a big gap between all the women. It was no way possible how she started from second to last and won second place at the end. Basically stole second place from Gabby Johnson, the American that got third place. And on top of that, she was already kicked out from the 400 meter because of a high testosterone level.
Well, yeah, something right there is fishy. It's like, okay, she didn't win, but might be a little something else going on there.
No, I'm serious. If you look at that match, she should not have caught up that much and went to second place,
right,
at all. Especially, and when it come out that she has a high testosterone level, I understand. Now that Polish person is getting backlash because, of course, he's a white man, saying that want a sex test on a black woman, and now he's getting backlash from all the mafia people on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. The third one, and this happened actually during the Olympics, it's in swimming. This British black woman wanted to wear a cap called the soul cap. That's made for black women.
Yeah, like for their hair, so it can stay in their hair, like
right.
So it won't fall off. Yeah.
Right. The competition committee banned her from wearing it, and they got the whole backlash. They're saying that, oh, I can't believe this swimming competition committee, they're racist, and they won't let a black woman wear it because she's trying to wear something that's special for her hair. Looking into the story more, it's the company's fault for not doing their job. Because what they were supposed to do, they were supposed to submit a new product to them to make sure that the cap won't cause any advantages for the race. And this British woman already had a plan to wear it. The company didn't do their part. Of course, the competition committee says that we're going to go back and look at our rules to accommodate them, but they should have said, "Screw you! It's not our fault. It's their fault for not submitting their product to us." Yeah. Anyway, that's all I gotta say for my update. And thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Good call from my man, Victor, as always. And thank you all for joining. Everybody that just joined recently, and everybody's been here the whole time. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go 667 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, brother. This is Deshaun. Just glad to be on. Just want to talk to, maybe I could reference a book from by a gentleman named William Milton Cooper. He wrote the book "Behold a Pale Horse," and it's kind of a dark quote a little bit, but I'm not saying it for negative reasons. I'll quote it real quick. It says you must accept that you have become cattle, and the ultimate consequence of being cattle, which is slavery, or you must be prepared to fight and if necessary die for your God-given right to freedom. Now the book, that's just a quote, but the book draws on parallels of the fact that whether people, want to believe it or not, and again, it's just my opinion, and someone else wrote the book, I didn't buy the book, but it's called Behold a Pale Horse. It was written in 1991. But anyway, it draws on the parallel of that people have been asleep, for a long time, and that there have been, I guess you could say factions or whatever you want to call it, but there have been individuals that make up the government who are in bed financially with companies and other forms of our societal lives that have put, I guess, in essence, put the squeeze on us, so to speak. And I just kind of want to convey the message just to everybody, on your platform that, people need to wake up. We need to see this as a time to get right with God. Number one, I'm a God-fearing man. And we need to see this as a time of healing and helping each other so that we can understand that, I'm not trying to be a negative person here, but what's coming is going to it may get worse. I'm not saying it will. I believe God will fix all of this. But I believe the American people need to get themselves in order and understand, like, hey, God is giving us this chance so he can expose all of this, but we need to also get ourselves right. And yeah, that's all I pretty much got to say, brother. The whole Afghanistan thing with now the left and everybody talking about impeach Taliban Joe, it's great. I definitely don't want to see Kamala Harris in there at all, man. But I think they're turning around, but very slowly. What do you guys see on the matter?
I think that things are going to turn around, like you said, slowly. I think next year's elections are going to be tremendous because it'll be a while before 2024. That's when it's really going to flip, in my opinion. But next year, if we can, get some gains in the House and the Senate, if we can, take this thing back a little bit, that'll help. But the way it is right now, you have incompetent leadership. They're so focused on some things that don't matter. Critical race theory, gender, pronouns. They focus on that and not actually governing, not actually being the world's leaders in a serious way.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. It's like most of this stuff is really divisive. If people just simply look in history, and I'm not taking partisan sides here because I'm not Republican nor Democrat. I'm American first. Straight, just straightforward like that. And it's just sad that if you look through history, it's primarily been the Democrats that have been racist, that pushed Jim Crow laws, that pushed so many different segregating, so many different weird ideologies. And now I don't know if you see in Australia, they're spray. It's nothing to do with what I just said, but the tyranny that's going on in Australia, they're pepper spraying kids in the face because they're not wearing masks outside. What kind of world is this that we live in, that where we get CRT in schools, and we get the Australian police spraying kids in the face with mace? Like, what kind of hellhole is this? But anyway, man, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your platform. Please keep going. Please, everybody sponsor ABL. He's a good dude. And God bless you, brother. Stay blessed. Have a good one.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you. All right. Great call. Shout out to the callers. You guys, a lot of good calls. Interesting calls, good calls. You guys are fantastic. Couldn't do it without y'all. Let's get to a few more here. Let's go to 614, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey there, ABL. This is Han in Australia again.
Alrighty, what's going on?
I just have to respond to yourself and Victor's call. You know, you guys talked about an Olympian there who tested high for testosterone. You know, to me, it's a whole lot of hypocrisy out of the IOC. You know, they tell these women, and they're natural women, they just have high testosterone, and it seems to do with race because it's happening to a lot of African athletes, but they have a problem with that and kick women out for that. Caster Semenya, that example, if it is a woman, like I don't care if they're doing the sex thing, but if it is a woman, it's a problem.
But Caster, Caster's a male.
Pardon me?
Caster Semenya is a male. XY.
A male?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, serious?
Yes. I think the thing was like they might have said like hermaphrodite or something like that, but XY.
Like an intersex. Okay. No, that's different then, but I know there's athletes out there that are women with just high testosterone and the hypocrisy of just letting that New Zealand trans person, you know, be there, and yet they're kicking out women. I'll take back the Caster thing. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, like I said, there were
I get your point. I get your point though. It's like, you know, they're talking about women that have high testosterone, but yet they allow men to compete as women. It's like, how does it make any sense?
100%, and it's like you said, it's the alphabet community just pushing black women out the way. They're annexing, you know, black women is something you said the other day.
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry about getting that Caster Semenya thing wrong, but all right, thank you, ABL. That's all.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Cheers. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, raises a good point. It's like, come on, IOC, you letting these 6'10" men compete as women, talking about that, well, they got a certain testosterone level. So it's Caster Semenya XXY. Well, if you have that, aren't you still a male? Let me just do a little research. Okay, Semenya is an intersex woman assigned female at birth with XY chromosomes and naturally elevated testosterone levels. If you get XY chromosomes, you're a male, period, regardless of, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's something with your genitalia, but XY makes you a male, and that's the end. You know what I'm saying? So it's confusing if she was, or if you were born and assigned female at birth and you're intersex, that can be confusing, but you are a male according to your chromosomes, X or XY. It's simple, but it is confusing. That's an interesting case. But I understood what my man was saying. He had a very good point. Let's get some more. Let's go 828. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 828. Hello. Going once. Maybe it's my Skype. All right, Skype caller. Who am I speaking to? I think it's my Skype messing up because I don't. Let's restart Skype right quick. Hey, Skype was doing good for a while and then it just wasn't. So let's try to get Skype back on for the last few calls here. And sorry about that. If you're wearing headphones, RIP. But I had to restart Skype and I still got to change the other stuff. Wow, that really didn't fix it. Okay, let's try this. There we go. So let's get to a few more, and hopefully this is gonna work properly this time. That'd be great. 201, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Kay from New Jersey. If you can hear me.
I hear you well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank you for the good job you're doing. I've been watching you for a few months, and I learned a lot. But you know what happened to me today? The vaccine people actually came to my door.
Oh, no. We can't do that.
And the crazy thing about it, they had a list with the names of everybody who lived in, because I live in like a multi-family apartment. So they showed me the list. Do I recognize? I said, I don't want to talk to you, and I slammed my door. But it's but the crazy thing, I work in New York, and they literally started that vaccine thing today. It's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, today it went in effect, but it's fully in effect in September. I'm thinking about running away to Texas or Florida right now.
Hey, you might need to. I mean, you're a conservative person. You sensible. You might need to, because that's crazy to require you. And then my thing is it ever going to stop? Because now they done came out and said that, hey, the vaccine has a shelf life, 8 months. It's it. You're gonna need some more vaccines. And then where does that end? You're gonna need to. So basically, it's almost the equivalent of requiring you to get the flu shot every year. It's the same thing. Is it ever going to stop?
Sure. Are they going to make a booster for every variant that's out there? That's what I'm starting to wonder.
Apparently so.
Yeah, but, thank you for the job you're doing. I thought I would never get through. But you're doing an excellent job. Actually, I was a Democrat originally. But for some reason, within the last 2 years, I switched. And I'll never go back to the plantation.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You're doing a good job. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Great call. Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, if anybody wants to get the vax, go for it. Your body, your choice, right? You got the freedom to do that to yourself if you want to. If you feel safe or whatever, okay, go for it. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to stop you. Olay. However, don't come to my crib talking about, oh, you want to get the vaccine? Oh, here's less people in your house. Sir, how about you leave off my premises? Get off my property right now. Get off the property now. Now you're in my castle. I got doctrine, but I digress. Let's get to the next call. All righty, man. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you been?
Everything's been good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, they couple of callers were saying some things about Tokyo Olympics and such.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that for a second because I'm here and it was nuts. Our numbers are up really high now. Like they've put us back in lockdown. That was interesting though. They stopped serving beer everywhere in the country, more or less, except for Olympic Village, which I thought was funny.
That's hilarious.
I know, right? It's like of all the people who needed a beer, probably not the athletes.
Right.
Yeah. But Afghanistan, been listening to callers back and forth, and I really appreciate those soldiers who are over there working, especially the sacrifice that they're having to put up with their being away from their families and such. I have a friend here who worked in the embassy here and got transferred over there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the only Japanese in the Afghan embassy over there. Obviously, I can't give names or anything, but she wanted to go back. Her term ended, and so she came back here for 6 months, and then said it was fantastic to be over there at the time. I was like, really? She said, yeah, it's just beautiful. It's safe. Anybody who's in the embassy is, we don't even really get to interact with the outside world. I said, really? And she said, yeah, it's interesting because people who work in the embassy can't tell anybody that they're working at the embassy, obviously, because there'll be backlash against the family or something. And so she's all in training to go back, and she was scheduled to be back in there last Tuesday, I think. And she had to go through anti-terrorism training. She was they were teaching her how to drift. And I was like, well, you can come back to Tokyo and do some Tokyo drift here. And she's like, yeah, it was how to escape Taliban.
Wow.
Or, yeah, it was really cool. And I was like, will you teach me how to drift? That'd be awesome. But she just obviously she's in DC now. She got stuck in DC. She said the number of people who didn't get in and out. Well, I can't really.
Yeah, don't do too much. Yeah.
Yeah, can't talk about too much there. And she obviously is not sharing too much, so I guess I could probably share what she's sharing here. But the amount of buffoonery, I guess, with this is just, it's unbelievable.
Right.
So everybody's like really complaining about what's going on. Now this withdrawal from Afghanistan, this is planned for months, right? Like Trump was like, this is one of his things that he wanted to do, right? He wanted to pull everybody out. Now how it happened is the question. This is like Hanoi.
Yeah.
This is craziness. And whether you like Biden or not, if you're a Democrat, you know he's going to go down in history for this.
Oh yeah,
right?
Like this is something that he's not going to be able to escape. I mean, I think the key element to look at is the mainstream media. They've turned their back on him. They are going against him full throttle. So you know he's done something very bad here.
Yeah, and it's not just. The thing is I mean, like even looking at it from over here, from Tokyo, from way outside, this is internationally embarrassing.
Yeah.
This makes everybody else look and say, "What what's going on?" If we are your allies, and you would do that to your allies. So one of the reasons why it failed so badly was because the people who trained the Afghan military now, they train them on American military tactics, which rely on air support.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's on the ground, they're having a problem. And this goes straight back to Vietnam. And I mean, I was born at the end of Vietnam. So I don't remember it. I'm almost 50, but I don't remember it. And you see all these movies, I mean, I grew up watching MASH, everything else. If there's a problem, what do? You call in air support. It's nothing else you can do. Granted, MASH was a Korean War. But you call in air support. What's the first thing Biden does? Withdraws air support.
Right away.
Can't do anything else about it. You are literally leaving people on the ground stuck in an unwinnable war.
That's right.
Surely, I mean, Trump gets made fun of a lot for choosing some bad people to be in office. But, he didn't really, if you don't have a lot of experience as a politician, who do you call upon to do a political job? And there's not a lot you can choose. Biden, he had everybody that he knew, advisors, everybody else. And even Kamala Harris, which is, this was, I don't even know, I don't know if it's on TV now or not, but she was like, oh yeah, I was the last person to make the deal. She's going to go back in a couple of months or weeks maybe and say, oh no, I told him not to do this. Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. Well, hey, listen, man, I know you got a lot of calls. Phones are backed up today. Obviously, a lot to talk about, but thanks for all your stuff, man. It's always good.
No
and you are a brave man for taking live calls, dude.
Thank you for the
Blew
call.
me
Man.
away at that.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, man. Be safe.
All righty. Shout out to my man for the call. Always a good win. I got time for maybe one, maybe two more. Let's get to him here. 828, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, Mr. Anthony.
Yes.
Hi, this is Debbie from North Carolina.
All righty. What's going on?
I wanted to tell you about talking about the vaccine. I don't think I put this in your chat lately, but I might have. About 2 weeks ago, the National Guard set up in my little small town. They set up and they stayed here for a week. They were giving out the shot.
Mm.
And my friend, when they were setting up, I got pictures of them in their uniforms. I kind of hung back in my car and I got some pictures. I don't know why, but my friend drove by and she waved at one of them to come over, and he walked over to her in his uniform, and she asked him, what are y'all doing? And she said, well, why are you giving the shot here? Because just a few feet away was the grocery store. And she said, you can get the vaccine in the grocery store. And what he said to her was, well, we felt like some people couldn't get into town. Now, we may be a small town. It's outside of Asheville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't drive a covered wagon anymore. And that was just lame. Why do you think he said that?
I don't know. Maybe that's what he's being told. He may not have come up with that himself. He may be told that, but I think the real reason is because they kind of want to intimidate people and make them feel like they got to get it. Because like you say, you could just go to the store and get it if you want it, but they kind of want to have that presence there. They try to do something like that here in Tennessee. Like what they were going to do was they were going to go to some of the low income areas in the cities with the National Guard to test. This is before the vaccine came out. They were going to send a National Guard to test, but the NAACP protested against that and got them to stop it because they said that would intimidate people. You're showing up with your full military uniform on, and people are going to think they have to get it rather than it being a choice. So that could be part of the reason why they did that. But he doesn't know that. He's just being told a particular thing that's not true.
Yeah, I understand. He's basically an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Has to do what he's told, but I just thought that was crazy. And I had seen these guys last summer in the same area. They had gone into a little store there, and they were in their uniform, and they walked in the store. I had seen these same guys, and so now they're gone. They stayed here for a week, and when I went down there to go to the grocery store, I hardly ever saw anybody pulling into their little traffic area where they'd set up all the cones. Mm-hmm. I maybe saw one car, but of course I wasn't down there all the time. But I don't know, they picked the wrong town, because this little town, Asheville's pretty liberal. Our little town is pretty country people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll just say it because I've lived here all my life. We're a bunch of rednecks. So, they really picked the wrong town, but I don't know. I just didn't know if you'd heard about the National Guard setting up in a parking lot like that and giving out the shot to whoever wants to come by.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's like intimidation to me. That's what it seems like. But maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah, well, it kind of seemed that way to me. And one more item, if you've got just a moment. I was at the local hospital today with a family member, not serious, but the RN was really nice, and we were in the room, and he was talking. And I said to him, I was trying to see what he would say, and I said, I'm really sorry your hospital is all full up, because we had heard it was all full, but we were in the Heart Tower, and I didn't see anybody much there. And he said, well, we're pretty full, but, we've got a few rooms. And he closed the door, and he said, where your family member is going up on the next floor, it's a good floor. But he said, you need to stay out of the hospital if at all possible. He said, health is wealth. And he said, we don't have employees here like we used to.
Wow.
We've got a bunch of young people that don't know what it means to work in a hospital. And I appreciated him telling me that. And then I go down and they have valet parking, and they were all backed up. Anthony, they can't get anybody to work there either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, people.
It's really bad around here.
It's like that everywhere because people getting this government money and the stimulus, the unemployment. They feel like they make more money by staying at home and doing nothing.
Right. Well, it's really bad around here, but I'll be quiet now and you can take somebody else's call. But thank you for what you do. I really enjoy your program and enjoy the people on your program.
Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All righty. Great call, but that will be a wrap for me tonight. Thank y'all again for being here. Couldn't do it without y'all. If you enjoyed what you heard so far, if you enjoyed what you heard tonight, give me your thumbs up on the video if you've not done so already. And if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that as well. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to all the mods for doing what you do. Keep all the trolls in check. Shout out to everybody that is watched, shared, liked, commented, subscribed, super chatted, whatever you do. Thank you for doing it. Shout out to all the Patreon people, the PayPal people. I thank y'all for doing what you do. Couldn't do it without y'all. I got super chats to read right here, and then I wrap it on up, put the bullshit on top. Okay, let's go. And where did I leave off? Let's try. Let me see. Okay. Hold on. I think I'm right here. Okay. Shout out to Xenomethian, if I pronounced that correctly, who says, do you think the Russians will jump for Ukraine as the CCP go for Taiwan with the possibility of a European spring revolution from the refugees? I think Russia, in my opinion, already has Ukraine. It's just a matter of just announcing it. They already took Crimea. That happened, and it was just like, whatever. So the next thing would be to take the eastern part of Ukraine, which is pretty much already aligned with the Soviets. They could pretty much take Ukraine. It's just a matter of if anybody's going to do anything to stop them. I think they could go ahead and take Ukraine because they already got it. And as far as Taiwan, that's a bit of a different story because that's less about Taiwan and more about the South China Sea, which is very, very important to international trade. So, and that's other countries involved with that. I think, in my opinion, I think China will have an easier time taking Taiwan than Russia will have taken Ukraine because Ukraine, I think NATO might put up a fight, maybe. Is Ukraine in NATO? I'm not sure, but anyway. But Taiwan, now you're dealing with that. That's going to be hard. We'll see. That's a good question, though. Thank you to Joey Muggs, who says, ABL, are you more afraid of the Taliban or the COVID variant that will spawn from them not wearing masks? I'm not afraid of anything, but I think the Taliban is more of a threat than the bug. Put it to you like that. Joe N says, you go get him, ABL. Watch you regularly. Our country is in trouble, and we need more people like you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Love, Live, Serve, who says, so the government is not recommending boosters for September 20th, along with flu shots. Feel bad for the overworked pharmacists. I mean, the flu is pretty much gone, ain't it? Why we need a flu shot? Did anybody get a flu shot last time? Was that really this priority? But yet, nobody really got that. So why would they be giving out flu shots? I don't understand. I think they have rebranded the flu, but I digress. Thank you to Phyllis Kurtner for becoming a member. Thank you to Realist, who says ex-military, conserve, hashtag uniparty, hashtag stop blaming, just Democrats. I understand. But thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you to Philip Wheeler, who says just a donation. Thank you to Georgia Peach, who says thanks again for another great Wednesday night. Very informative and helps me understand. Also, I had to use my phone and sent Super Chat the wrong video. It's yours, though. That's all good. Also, I'm hooked on $4.99 tonight. But shout out to my son and nephew serving now. God bless all of you. Hey, God bless you, and God bless your nephews as well. Hopefully they stay safe and get her done. Thank you to M. Martin 261, who says, I think much of the blame falls on Lloyd Austin. He's been too busy changing our military into a support group for his self-esteem skin condition. Wow. That was deep. Think it's a Love Live Serve who says, ABL, you should host a think tank on Clubhouse. You have a talent for explaining international affairs in a manner that's so easy to understand. Well, I may. The thing about Clubhouse is that they got to get a desktop application. I don't have that much time to be on my phone exclusively and not multitasking. I can't do it. I just, it's just, they need to expand that app beyond the phone. Like Instagram. Instagram, you could do some things on desktop, but I can't just be only on there. That's why I don't do a lot of, I did some live streams on Instagram, but also you can't multitask. It's time consuming and I can't be stuck to my phone. Like I got a whole desktop set up here and I got 2 monitors. I can multitask on my computer while I'm on the stream. I can be doing other things, but I can't do that when I'm just glued to my device. Thank you to Dustin Kendall for becoming an ABL supporter, then upgrading the ABL squad. I appreciate you. Thank you to SRC who says, ABL talk about the Taliban getting our weapons. I spoke about that a little bit already. Thank you to Victor who says, yes, I'm still high on Olympics. I speak in my ASMR voice because my family is asleep. Yeah, got the wife and the kids in the background sleeping. You can't wake them up. So shout out to my man Victor. You called in earlier through Skype with the ASMR voice. Shout out to Joey Muggs who says, I wouldn't trust 46 to run a sewing class at a nursing home, but here we are. Thank you to Robin Constantinopoulos who says, Justin Trudeau announced today he wants mandatory vaccines for everyone who travels. You won't be able to enter or leave the country unless vaccinated. How does he get away with that? Yeah, that's crazy. Luckily, I'm not in a rush to go to Canada anytime soon, but I feel bad for you guys that are up there. Hopefully you can get beyond this, this guy. Thank you to Jerry J who says, if you know any vets, don't say how sorry you feel for him. Instead, offer him a beer. There you go. Right on. Thank you to Durner 1804 who says, people keep American tactics rely on air support. We didn't have air support since 2009 because of rules of engagement. Fighting on the pomegranate orchards in Archandab was happening at distances of 70 feet or less. Wow. Thank you to Henry Foss who said, shout out to ABL. Thanks for correcting me on Caster. Great show. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you for calling in all the way from Australia. But that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to all you guys calling and watching and listening from all over the world and the good old US of A and everywhere else. But that'll be a wrap for me. I will see y'all again live tomorrow on Brandon Tatum's channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll put up a notification on my on my Instagrams, my Twitter or whatever, maybe even here on the community section. I put a notification up. But 9:30 p.m. we got 2 young guns tomorrow. We got my young friend, my young homie Chandler Crump. He's going to be on the show with us, and also Vince Dow, if you know who he is. So shout out to the young gunners. We're going to have them on the show with Brandon Tatum and myself tomorrow night on his channel, Brandon Tatum's channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Now we're back live again here on Saturday, same time, same place at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, also, this particular podcast will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. All right, that's a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.